All right, good Thursday morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas and whatnot.
Ooh, for some in 30 days, it will be
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. That's a great promo. 30 days from today, college football begins. But you know what begins? 5 weeks from tonight.
5 weeks from tonight. The NFL football season.
Preseason, 1 week.
5 weeks from tonight.
5 weeks from tonight
Yeah.
is
The NFL. It's the start of the NFL, no?
Do your math, Matt.
5 weeks from tonight is...
I'm sorry. Nebraska football takes on Cincinnati.
Goodness.
It's 6 weeks. You go. See, I messed up because you said 30 days, and I thought you meant 30 days until Nebraska's game.
30 days till college football.
Okay, there you go.
People are loading up for Farmageddon. 5 weeks from tonight. Lots up in the air. 5 weeks from tonight, there will be Nebraska football against Cincinnati, where they have piqued my curiosity. They have piqued my curiosity on what is going to happen this year.
Nebraska?
That is my word of today. 5 weeks out. It'll change next week when we're 4 weeks out. But 5 weeks out, my word of the day is curiosity of how this is all going to work. And a curiosity sometimes is not negative, sometimes be a positive. In this case, it's very much a positive.
Curiosity did kill the cat. Why are you? What is making you curious about the game? Or curious about the season?
How long are we on today?
4 hours, 4.5 hours typically.
You're not curious about this season?
Oh, I'm totally curious about the season.
Yeah, there's so many things that are still up in the air that until you have eyeballs 5 weeks from tonight, you won't know. There's still quite a few ifs. But if you were doing like the teeter-totter of ifs and ifs was sitting in the middle, I think they're more on the good side of the ifs, but I have to see it first with my own eyes. So that's why I'm very curious on how all these parts are going to fit together, whether it be the newbies that wear headsets or the newbies that wear helmets. So I would say that the curiosity is very much high 5 weeks from today.
I think that this is a different curious, because I think we're always curious, at least in the last couple of years, we've always been
That's
curious.
What general human is curious, should be curious.
About Nebraska football. And I think that in part of the reason why Nebraska football hasn't had the amount of success that people would like them to have is because you go into a lot of seasons not knowing a lot because you have to plug a ton of holes and things haven't necessarily happened the way that you want them to happen. The one difference between the curiosity of this season is that at least I've seen what Riley Van Poppel looks like. Like at least I've seen what Cam Lenhart and Keona Davis and like a lot of these pieces can do compared to like the last couple of years where it's like, we're at the point where it's like, I've seen what some of these guys can do, and it's either they have to get a lot better or you're bringing in like brand new pieces and you have zero clue what's going on.
Now, a little bit though, the guys you just rattled off haven't played much frontline football.
Yes.
So it's different. It's different until you adjust to it to being a frontline guy.
But I do think that definitely could be more of a conversation. And it really stuck with me when like Signetti was talking about it the other day at Big Ten Media Days. That might be more of a discussion for like, how do they handle it when they get to week 7 or week 8? Or it's like, because their bodies just physically haven't handled that. But in terms of week 1, like, and being fresh and like playing maybe not the best Power 5 team you're going to be playing all season, or not one of the best Power 5s you're playing all season. I'm more.
It is. Wow. I mean, that's a
Penn
hell of a
State
jump by Cincinnati. Good on you.
But
go Bearcats.
I don't know. I think that this season it's one of those things where I really do believe that the last couple of years you were trying to really connect the dots and you were really stretching that some guys were going to take jumps and that some transfer portal prospects were going to be way better because you so wanted Nebraska to win more games. Where this is more, I feel like there's just more merit to people's positivity.
Well, I think there's also something about this season where Nebraska's getting further and further away from the time period where you looked at guys that were playing key snaps and you went, why are they on the field? They should be playing for Ed Foley, or they should be playing for Bill Bush. They should be doing more activity on special teams than they are on actual snaps that matter. We are getting further and further away from that. So that is a positive. But 35 days from today, nobody's going to work in this state. There will be no productivity. There will be people take Thursday off. They'll take Friday off. You hope that Friday is a good Friday. But 5 weeks from today, this radio station will be taking over Arrowhead.
Can we write a letter to the governor of Nebraska and just declare Friday, August 30th? Is that what it would be?
August 29th.
August 29th as Nebraska Football Day. It's like nobody has to go to work on that day. Just all enjoy the game at Arrowhead. Can we not do that? Do we not have enough pull to get that?
You want
done?
to do it on a Friday?
Well, yeah. Well, that way.
Holidays to celebrate
Thursday.
But no, you go to work on Thursday, and then
people aren't working.
Okay. Well, you take your Thursday off, you save that day off, you go ahead, you go to the game, and then you don't have to worry about going to work the next day or driving back from Kansas City like that night. You just get the Friday off.
So you get like a 5-day weekend for Labor Day?
Exactly.
I think that's already a given that people are going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that are going to stay in Kansas City and they're going to make it a weekend. I mean, the Royals were kind enough to schedule the Tigers to play on that Friday night and make it Husker night at the K. I mean, the city of Kansas City is going to suck the money out of Nebraskans. They're like, you know what? Get your football, get your baseball, you get in the K and you get in Arrowhead. Just sleep overnight in our parking lot, please.
Kansas City, Omaha's #1 tourist attraction.
But we are almost there, 35 days away. So welcome in, everybody. Gary and Matt. Joey is in today, once again for Jimmy. Steve Sipple will join the show. He just got back from Vegas. We'll hear how his trip to the Golden Steer went.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was some restaurant, very fancy restaurant that he went to that like Elvis.
The Golden Steer?
Yes. Is that what I'm assuming that's what it was? That like Elvis's gold records were there and like all those now I have a question. So those restaurants that brag about that, there's like, oh, that's Rodney Dangerfield's table and that's like Muhammad Ali's table. Like that's really cool. But also too, I feel like it's a signal that like they fell off a little bit. You know,
what do you mean?
So like, well, it's just like, you know, why isn't Timothy Chalamet now not sitting there? It was like, why don't the stars come here anymore? Like, what happened? Like, why aren't these like A-list celebrities like they used to in the 40s and 50s? Why aren't they?
Well, I mean,
you know,
some of the places are legendary steakhouses where, you know, that was a big deal. And you put how many places do you go? You specifically go to that celebrities still have their picture on the wall. Like they took a picture with the owner. That used to be a big deal. That's not as big a deal anymore.
No.
Plus, I also think people like privacy. So instead of, hey, that is Chalamet's booth, they're like, hey, that's where Chalamet goes, and it's behind like a curtain or it's in a back room that is not accessible to everybody else, so that people just can't randomly come up and ask for selfies while he's eating or autographs and stuff like that.
I'm curious as to what those restaurants are in like 30 years. Like what restaurants like in California or Vegas where we're going to go and be like, yeah, Bradley Cooper used to sit right there. I don't know. Do we have like legends like that?
Yes,
really?
Yes, you do. You do. People like their privacy a little bit more. I mean, they try and avoid the kiss cam when they go to a sporting event or a concert, but they like their privacy. But those are legendary old school steakhouses where you can say, that was Sinatra sat in that booth, and then they have a picture on the wall with Sinatra taking a picture with the proprietor. And then you know that they're good. And they're old steakhouses.
They've been having the same recipe for the last 80 years. Been doing it the same way.
Yeah, and probably the people that are waiting on you are in their 60s, and they've been working there since they were 19.
I'm a little mad that PJ Fleck isn't talking at Big Ten Media Days today, because I would really love a follow-up about how his dinner at Prime at the Bellagio with his favorite waiter Howard went.
Yeah. He did. He has, by the way, scaled down. It's hard to believe that this is his 9th year at Minnesota. So he spoke yesterday. When he first started coming to media days, I remember that he would bring a huge binder of his talking points.
Okay.
Because before he became too big to talk to Nebraska radio, he would spend a lot of time with us, and he would put his binder down. And we asked him about it one year, and he said, I just want to make sure that all my talking points, that I get them out. In case anybody has any questions that I don't know, I can reference them. So yesterday, did you notice when he went up to the main podium that he spoke for 13 minutes and only took one question?
Kind of a pro move.
He had his little play sheet. It's scaled way down. It's not the binder, because he's gone from the binder to like the manila envelope
Oh, okay.
or the manila folder,
Sure.
excuse me. And now he's gone to the play sheet.
Was it
that
a
he had
big,
yesterday.
like a big binder, or was it like
That was a big binder.
like a medium?
It was
Did
a big binder.
I did you ever
There are no
ask him?
small binders. You got to have big binders.
Did you ever ask him, like, is there anything in that binder you haven't gotten to yet that you'd like to get to right now? I would love to see him. Just
No, he's
like,
really
flip
excited
through
about
that
his
thing.
binder. He talked glowingly about his binder. He said, "This is elite." He goes, "When I think of being great, I have a big binder."
Do you think he has binders from like every like Big Ten
Oh.
media day,
Oh, yeah.
like in his room?
Yeah, I bet
He's
he
got like his
saves.
favorites.
I bet he saves everything. I mean, there are. Coaches don't throw away
Oh,
like that year's game plan.
no,
They have them shelved
no.
away so they can go back and look at them.
Well, I always loved it when the Bears played on primetime and they would show Matt Nagy's office that has every single play calling sheet he ever used in his entire
That was
career.
great. That was with the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't they were doing the remote draft and everybody got to see that?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
That was really, really cool.
when they were coming off of a disappointing
Well,
2019
yeah.
season, I wasn't necessarily thrilled that the play sheet that scored 7 points against the Packers was up there right in the middle. But regardless of that, also too, like Matt Patricia, do you know that he keeps his pencils?
Oh, he does.
He does, yeah. He's got
How
like
wild
this
is that going to be to see him as the Ohio State defensive coordinator?
It's I don't know.
wow.
It'll be weird.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's the DC.
Crazy.
It's going to be wild to see him. I mean, will he be on the sidelines? Will he be in the booth?
Probably
He's got to be on the sidelines, right?
He's
gotta
always
be on
been
the
a, he's
sidelines.
always been a sidelines.
That's
guy.
got to be. That'll be really odd to see. I mean, it took a little bit of adjustment to see Chip Kelly,
Yeah.
but to see Matt Patricia coaching in college, especially at Ohio State.
Of all places.
I mean, we got Rob Ryan and Matt Patricia are in the Big Ten.
Minus,
Just think about that.
might as well throw the
Did-
entire New
did
England
Ryan Day-
Patriots staff since they're in college.
Ryan Day and Matt Patricia have like a big connection or anything like that, or like best friends or something?
I don't know. Maybe they've crossed paths when their time in the NFL.
Man, being a part of those Patriots Super Bowl runs, like as an assistant coach, talk about the gift that keeps on giving. Like those guys will just never not have jobs.
One of them
just
is a guy that calls plays.
Josh McDaniels for the New England
He
Patriots.
has more than 9 lives.
That whole staff does. Even Brian Flores got caught up in a whole tampering case, and he's still got a job too. I mean, it's incredible.
All right. Also, Brian Edwards will stop by. That's the lineup brought to you by the Roof Freeze at John Higgins Weather Guard. So you watched the Big Ten Media Days yesterday. Bad math. It is day 3. It is the final day in Vegas. But PJ Fleck brought himself into a Nebraska conversation for the good, I might add. So we will discuss all of that. But there is one thing, along with watching a majority of the Big Ten Media Day stuff yesterday. Man, they're on the back 9 of Media Days. The juice is not flowing from the Big Ten Media Days, but I think that's all Media Days. I'll explain a little bit later. But there is a video that I cannot stop watching this morning.
Which is?
You know, last week when the whole viral thing from the Coldplay concert came out,
Yes.
thought it might be a PR stunt.
Yeah.
You know, because you always think anything that goes viral, any video or content, you're like, okay, this is a PR stunt.
Mhm.
What happened yesterday in Cleveland, I believe, in the revealing of the Alpha Dog helmet for Cleveland, the Browns, the alternate helmet, and the little thing they had there out on the water was staged.
Oh,
So if you've not seen it, so they unveiled the helmet, and they were on like a mini barge out on the lake. And there was a photographer as they were pulling the drape off of the helmet. They had this oversized helmet on the barge, and they had like a mascots. And oh, by the way, you should know that Dude Wipes is the sponsor of this, and their mascot was there as well. There is what appears to be a social media member of the Browns organization is filming or taking pictures.
yes.
And you know, if you're on a small barge, that you have to be very careful. And the way they walked right into the water. And then there was a jet ski right there to pick them up. So I immediately thought, this is staged. But if you're a Browns fan and they have a factory of sadness there in the Mistake by the Lake, I can't stop watching. I believe it is staged, but it is fantastic.
I just pulled it up on
The
Twitter.
best part of the video is that the lady all the way to the left, while the other person is falling into the water, has their hands up in celebration of like, yay, we
yeah.
unveiled the stadium
Yeah.
as the other lady is falling in. Look, anything to get me talking about Cleveland Browns football in July, good for them. I mean, it works. Like I don't give a damn about the Cleveland Browns and what they're doing and the fact that they're just like a terrible football franchise. So this is really good for them. The fact that like we're actually giving a damn about, their franchise, which by the way, has somehow not only been able to lose so many games in the regular season, but is now on the S list of so many owners because of the massive problem and headaches that they've been causing with the contracts they've been giving out, not only to Deshaun Watson or Myles Garrett. So I think that this is a perfect representation of Browns football thus far. Just not being aware of anything that's going around in your surroundings and completely failing.
I can't stop watching. I mean, it gets funnier every time.
What?
And then there's the mascot. So here I didn't, I don't follow the Browns like that, but I was watching McAfee yesterday, and all of a sudden their mascot is on McAfee, and he gives him a box that's got a countdown on it to noon Central Time. I mean, there's randomly let a mascot, who by the way is wearing pants. What are they? Is it Elfie or Brownie? Is their mascot?
I think it's Alfie.
Okay, so he brings this box, and it's got this countdown. Then at noon, it opens up, and they pull out the helmet that is going with their alternates. It just kind of looks like a normal helmet.
I was about to say.
Then they unveil it at the same time, and they have this incident on the barge. Again, I can't stop watching because I see something new every time. Of not only unfortunately, the photographer who was saved right away. I mean, didn't have to be in the lake. The person on the jet ski comes over and picks him up and doesn't put him on the jet ski. The person in the water like grabs onto the back of the jet ski and they pull him to land. Because you also see the other mascot for the Browns throws a life preserver
I saw it.
And it's just conveniently located right there. Now, I imagine if you're on the barge, you got to have it for safety. But it's like, he's like, clap it, and then he goes and picks it up and throws it out there. It's staged. It was funny. I can't stop watching. And 30 days from now, we have college football. And a week from tonight, we have the NFL. And it is the factory of sadness. Sorry, Browns fans.
I have a couple of questions. First off, what is a dude wipe? Like, what is it? Is it like what is it? Like, is it, I'm on their website and it's a bunch of dudes just pulling their pants down in front of their doctors and then showing them dude wipes. It's a crazy ad.
Yeah, it's, it is exactly what it is.
It's a wipe for your dude?
It's a wipe for your backside.
Okay. But what's different than, my classic 4-ply, Charmin Ultra Soft that I buy at Target? Like, what makes the dude wipe?
It's special. When you were a baby and your mom had little wipes?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like wipes for men.
Okay, but that was because I couldn't control my fecal matter. That was because
but if you would have known it back then, it probably felt pretty good there on the derriere. And so this company is like, you know what? Let's relive good times for the infants, the male infants out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. This is the first time you'd heard about this? You can, like at Target and Walmart and Amazon, like dude wipes is a big deal.
Okay.
I have never purchased any dude wipes.
I was going to ask if you've used this product, and I'm very curious.
But they accomplished exactly what they were looking for because, well, first of all, it's a good tie-in for what happened yesterday. Okay, again, I think this was staged, good PR, because what did it do?
It's an F show?
It made you go look and see what dude wipes are, and now you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Man, I don't want to use just a regular 4-ply. I might want to get a little damp down there.
So first off, when I'm looking at it, it first says 99% water and plant-based ingredients. I'm not looking to necessarily be environmentally healthy when I'm wiping my butt. Okay, so I don't really care about that.
Breaking news.
Soaked with soothing vitamin E and aloe. That actually is. I can rock with that. Okay, to make sure that everything is perspirated and that it's clean and it's properly like put together and you're not getting some rashes in that area. But then like large enough to clean up big messes and worry-free clean. Like what, guys? It's wiping. I don't know how. Is it hard? Is it a tough thing to do that you need,
Joey,
different apparatuses when you wipe? Like, have you ever heard anybody be like, yeah, I'm having a really tough time in the bathroom wiping. I got these dude wipes to like help me out.
Dave says they are great. They're a game changer. Imagine you're working outside. You just need to take care of yourself, men. And the Browns did something that was staged yesterday that got you to talk about dude wipes and got you to talk about the Browns.
Well, it's
a distraction. Everything is a distraction. You know what? When you don't want to talk about your quarterback battle or that people are fawning over Shedeur Sanders throwing a nice pass in the day 2 of training camp. You know what? Create a distraction. So you have a member of your social media team fall off a barge into the water while you're unveiling a helmet.
Did you see that? You know that during OTAs, they were releasing like stats for the Browns QBs, like what their
I think
completion
media
percentage
were.
was?
Yeah, I don't think the Browns were.
Okay.
I think media
Media
were
was?
well, because that's the like I'll watch some stuff from St. Joe, but like hey, your quarterback got pulled yesterday, like
Yes.
after 2 incomplete. I mean,
Off the field.
Come
Off the
on.
field. Isn't that Matt Rule did that to the defense that one time and in that chasing 3, and then we never got the rest of them. But no, I think it's just so funny that everybody was like, why aren't they drafting Shedeur Sanders? And everybody, including us, told people on draft night, guys, he is a media headache. Like the juice is not worth the squeeze. He is not a good enough quarterback to go through like the pain of like, is he going to play or not? And what are we now doing? We're keeping stats on training camp. And like Dov Kleinman is fawning over the fact that he made a 7-yard out.
All right, we're off and running. Joey is in the this morning. Packers would never do that, right, Joey?
Well, they are revealing a jersey
Today?
this morning at 8:30.
Are they unveiling it on a barge in Door County?
Probably over at the bay.
They go to the Upper Peninsula.
What is this connection to?
It's connecting to I think around the 1940s, 1950s.
Life was better.
Someone from the Packers leaked out what the jersey is supposed to look like.
Did it make you fully hussed as a Packer fan?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure as of right now. I'm trying to process it.
They weren't exactly fashionistas in the 40s and 50s.
No, they weren't. And from what I saw, it's probably going to be a Navy style uniform. One of those old timers.
Like the Navy, or the color Navy?
The color Navy.
Okay, just check.
The color Navy.
Yeah.
You can't take our color. We're not wearing green.
That's what they used to wear back in the day.
Stay in your lane.
Well, anybody that's revealing any uniform, you're going to take a backseat to Tampa.
Oh, my God.
Because the Bucks and their throwbacks.
Why did they ever get away from
Baker Mayfield looks really, man, he's a sexy man. He looks good in that uniform. I mean,
you think Baker Mayfield?
You look into his eyes while he's sitting there with the uniform on, the old creamsicles, and you're like, oh.
Baker Mayfield is not a sexy man. Baker Mayfield is a very standard-looking human being.
He's a Omahan.
In what way?
He has a property in Omaha.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Married to an Omaha woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
you'll see him at a Creighton game every once in a while.
I had a panic attack for a second, thinking that Baker Mayfield was born in Omaha, and I had no idea. I was like, he was born in.
He was not
born down more towards the south.
He spends a little bit of time here.
But
he's a sexy man. Look at him.
He's a very no. I'm not saying he's ugly. He's just out of all the quarterbacks that you could choose from and the players in the NFL, like he is probably.
I think he's better looking than Mahomes.
That is, yes, he is. He's for sure better looking than Mahomes.
It's okay to say that Baker Mayfield is sexy. Baker Mayfield's actually had a turnaround of his career. Tampa Bay, keep an eye on the old Bucks. I wasn't a big fan of Todd Bowles. I was like, I saw what happened with the Jets. Man, they got a really good roster in Tampa.
I think what was the quote? John Gruden says there's. Oh no, that was about wrong coordinator. I thought the quote was about. John Gruden one time said that there's nothing worse than playing Brian Flores on a short week. He's like, that's my hell on earth is playing that. I kind of confuse him with Todd Bowles because they both blitz the crap and have really good defenses. But I mean, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's been kind of the same song and dance since they won the Super Bowl. They're frisky. They're just a well-run team with like a really good offensive line.
Interesting way to describe them.
Yeah, they're just a frisky team. Like they're not going to win 13 games or the NFC Championship, but it's like when you go on the road or they come to you, you're like, all right, like this is going to be a competitive football game.
All right. What time is that? 8:30 Central Time?
8:30.
So you're going to pause and you'll be out of the room. You have to go have a moment.
Well, the only time I'm leaving the room is whenever I have to go update the traffic.
Oh, good job, Joey. All right. When we come back, we're going to see if we have an update for something. Omaha did their best to impersonate Florida last night. I'll explain when we come back. There's Matt, Gary. It's Gary and Matt on a Thursday. 5 weeks. We've almost made it. We're now down to 30 days to college football. 30 days to see in Kansas State and Iowa State on your television.
What's the math?
No.
What's the math?
We are 2 weeks away from being 3 weeks away.
Bang!
10 days away from being 20 days away.
Ooh, that's dude wipe worthy right there. We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in on a Thursday morning, the morning after PJ Fleck said nice things about Nebraska. Is it real? Is it fake? Is he trolling? Is he buttering up? Does he love Matt Rule? Does he hate everything about Nebraska except for Matt Rule? We'll discuss here in just a moment.
Or maybe he's trying to cover his tracks. And so when they finally lose to Nebraska at home, he could be like, well, I told you guys in the preseason that this was a dangerous team, that they were going to come after us.
Yeah, I'm vibing with you there. Because if you look at their schedule, because he said playoff yesterday. He said playoff. They don't play a real difficult schedule. So let's say they lose like their two toughest games.
Yeah.
But then they win 10. He would have to have Nebraska on there as one of his 10. I see what you're cooking over there. I see that angle that Fleck was like, you know what? Build them up and then beat them. And then that looks good on our resume. And people go, what about Nebraska? I say, hey, I told you they were going to be good.
Or build them up and lose to them and then be like, look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I know we had a really good roster this year, but we just we kind of ran into a team that had lightning in a bottle, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and they just beat us. It happens, but we're very happy with our 8-4 season and our 7th straight bowl victory.
Yesterday, here in the lovely community of Omaha, where it was a sauna-ish again yesterday. You follow Omaha Scanner? Are you in tune with Omaha Scanner?
I do. I do follow Omaha Scanner.
So Omaha Scanner, good group of guys that are behind it that run Omaha Scanner. They've gone through their ups and downs and their separations. But periodically, I will hone in on tweets that come from Omaha Scanner. Yesterday, this might be one of the best ones. I want to preface this by saying when you live in Florida and everybody goes, hey, Florida man, this happened.
Yeah.
That didn't even make the news down there. Okay. You don't realize it until you move away from Florida and people are like, oh, okay, that was kind of, they're swamp people. Okay. They live on the Everglades. All right. They live up by Okeechobee. Okay. They live in the muck. Okay. That just happens. All right. It's Florida. The heat, it gets to you. You do strange things. We had a Florida moment here in Omaha yesterday, according to Omaha Scanner. This was tweeted out at 6:53. Now, unfortunately, I tried to check with my sources. I do not have a follow-up on this.
Okay.
Medic 31 is en route to Bergen, which is a local hospital, if you don't know. Code 2 with a 37-year-old female who put Gorilla Glue in her eye, thinking it was eye drops.
How?
She does have Gorilla Glue on her eyeball and eyelid. Again, do not have a follow-up to what happened here, but I believe that this... we should have a discussion a little bit about how you can make the mistake and
you can't
of what kind of what stage would you be at during your day that you would think Gorilla Glue and eye drops are very similar.
First off, 6:53 for eye drops is a very in particular time, isn't it? Aren't eye drops kind of like you go to your bathroom and it's like when you wake up in the morning and you do it, and then right before the bed you go and do your eye drops, like 6:30.
I mean, unless you got contacts, you gotta get a little moisture in there. They've been a little dry. You've been outside.
Here's the thing, though, about the whole Florida man comparison. Florida men, like those stories are fun. They're like entertaining. They're like things you haven't really seen before.
Blank. Yes, I said blank. Crazy.
Like, a guy has his shirt off with a machete on top of a fiery car in a Walmart, or. It's like...
Now, that happened at 72nd Pacific, but without the fiery car.
See, but that's what makes a Florida man, right? The car's on fire. Like, that's always the difference. Or it's like, hey, there's a dude who's walking his pet alligator through a nice suburban neighborhood right now, and he's just kind of strolling across. Like, that's Florida man, right? Or it's like, just something weird. This is just stupidity. This has nothing. This is just...
Well, okay, let's be fair here. Let's don't all of a sudden assume about this 37-year-old woman in Omaha that confused Gorilla Glue and eye drops.
No. I'm going to totally assume that they're not smart.
You never know, because there can be confusion, and you never know what kind of a state you are that brings confusion. Maybe you had a bad glass of water. Okay, maybe you had a bad Snickers bar. But my question is, because I own both of these things.
Yeah.
I do keep my Gorilla Glue in the toolkit.
Sure.
I don't keep my eye drops in the toolkit. So
okay.
That's the confusing part to me, that I'm like, how do you get those mixed up? Did you get disoriented?
So I have my Gorilla Glue in my bathroom. Okay.
Really?
I do have
something sexual?
No.
Okay.
Why would it? Whoa. How would having Gorilla Glue in a bathroom be anything sexual?
I don't know why a Gorilla Glue would be in the bathroom.
I don't know why it should be in the medicine cabinet in the first place.
So
I don't know why it should be in your nightstand.
First off, guys, let me get there.
Now we're getting to this, Joey.
Let me get there. Okay. I had my flip-flops, or my slides, they broke.
Okay.
And so they broke in the bathroom. I bring the Gorilla Glue from my room to the bathroom, fix it over the sink, and then I put it back into the bathroom. And so whenever we have Gorilla Glue, which just happens to be in the bathroom. Now, it's not on the sink table standing with everything else, where it's like I can mistake it with a bottle of Izine, Like, they look nothing alike. And also, too, you have to, like, pinch the eye drops, like, in the middle. You have to really squeeze down on a Gorilla Glue to like get it because it's like a safety protocol, right? So I am fully within my right to be like, this person's just stupid. I mean, it's just like, how do you do this? And then after like the first little drop and it gets on your eye, how do you think, oh, I'm going to keep going? How do they even fix that?
There's a lot of questions here. Tim says, is this covered by insurance?
No, I don't think it is. I wouldn't cover it.
We do not have an update on the 37-year-old woman again that yesterday, according to Omaha Scanner, I'll give them a follow at Omaha_Scanner. 37-year-old female who put Gorilla Glue in her eye thinking it was eye drops. Gorilla Glue was on her eyeball and eyelid. Now, I would also like to talk to the people who work at Bergen to see how do you go about, is this like when this was a big deal for me, putting, you'd go to bed when you were young and you had gum in your mouth and you'd wake up and it would be in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom would have to use nail polish. This happened to me quite a bit. Just because I'd go to bed with gum and you'd fall asleep and it would fall out of your mouth and be on your pillow and you'd roll around and you wake up in the morning, you had gum in your hair. Oh yeah. There were times I would go to school and I would be missing like a splotch of my hair, but mom had to put nail polish to get it out. Like, how do you go about getting Gorilla Glue off somebody's eyeball?
That's a great question.
Okay. And their eyelid that probably is, barreling towards being shut.
You just go to the eye wash station at your
you
high school
hold the person
chemistry
upside
class.
down.
Here's my idea. We take a stick of Elmer's glue, right? The purple Elmer's glue, and we rub it on their eye again. And so then it makes that little thin layer. And then you use that thin layer and you peel off that thin layer, hoping that it sticks to the Gorilla Glue thin layer and it peels off that thin layer. How about that? Other than that, I got no other earthly idea on how you would do that. I can't get Gorilla Glue off of my fingers.
Okay, I just Googled how to remove Gorilla Glue from an eye.
Now, there actually is, you can Google that. Is this a chat GPT?
It's AI giving me the answer. So this is what it says. If you get Gorilla Glue in your eye, immediately flush your eye with lukewarm water for at least 15 minutes to try and dislodge some of the glue. Do not try to forcibly remove the glue, as this can cause further damage. After flushing, seek immediate medical attention from an eye doctor or emergency room, as they can properly assess and treat the injury.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey.
There's your answer.
I'm Joey Colbert. By the way,
Dr. Colbert.
Flushing your eye out for 15 minutes sounds like hell. I mean, that's a long time to just take water to the eyelid over and over and over and over again. I still can't get over the fact that, like, when you use Gorilla Glue, you have to squeeze really hard.
Yeah, I'm probably just confusion. Probably a long day at the office for this 37-year-old.
That's what I was thinking. Just a long, overwhelming day.
Yeah. This 37-year-old woman just had a long day at the office, was kind of worn out, came home. We can all see the confusion.
Mm-hmm.
No, we can't. We cannot all see it.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not.
I'm going to say, you know what? Hey, it probably happens more often than you think.
No, it doesn't. It does not. I mean, maybe getting just Gorilla Glue on places on your body happens more times than not, because sometimes, look, not a lot of people are familiar with using Gorilla Glue, okay? I've gotten on my body plenty of times when I use it because it's just one of those weird novelty things.
Nightstand. I mean,
it's not in my nightstand.
Did you say it's a novelty thing?
It is a little bit of a novelty.
Like a souvenir?
You don't use
a souvenir?
How often do you use Gorilla Glue? Not that often. At least I don't. At least if you're like a handyman, if you're like a handy worker and that's like your line of profession, I could see how you use it maybe on the daily. But if you're a regular old Joe like you and I are, how often are you really whipping out the Gorilla Glue to fix things? I'm not.
I mean, you got it in your nightstand. This person had it in their bathroom. I got it in the toolbox.
I have it in the bathroom.
I got a little handy, slice, put some things back together. We'll try and get an update on this woman. We've asked people behind the scenes of how this ended and what the explanation was. Could be, again, just rough day at the office. All right?
Can you imagine having this all into work the next day?
I mean, yeah, you're like, it's so crazy out there that Houston and Toronto are tied for the best record in the American League. Got confused, went to the bathroom, happened. But that's one of the better Omaha Scanner tweets for a while. And you know that will probably go viral.
Oh my God.
Like, people in Florida will probably pick that up and they'll go, people in Nebraska.
They'll be like, Janice, Why? What happened? Well, I was watching the Royals and Cubs, and it was a really, really rough game. And after a
Yes, it
performance like
was.
that, I just felt like I had to go to my bathroom and take Gorilla Glue and just probably ruin my retina or cornea or something like that. I never wanted to see the Cubs play again with my right eye.
Yeah, that was a rough game yesterday. It was one of those days where I had a little window to sit down and watch a game live instead of the 20-minute version that I get every day. And then they let me down. You should have known when the first pitch was hit to the corner in right field, when you hear somebody a fan on the crowd mic go, can of corn, and Suzuki drops it. Should have known that was not going to be our day.
It's been a rough week in Wrigley in terms of people judging fly balls from the stands. It just seems like anytime there's a ball that's hit over 85 miles an hour or a ball that goes in the air, everybody and their mother thinks that it's going out of that park. Like the wind's blowing in, guys. Like, it's one of those things.
Yeah, but that's kind of become a thing. Any ball that's hit in the air, like Yankee Stadium is known for that. Any ball that's hit in the air, the crowd reacts, even if it's a fly ball to medium right field.
But I still feel like it's a bad look. Like if if it seemed like like you're a Washington Nationals fan and you're watching the Nats play in Wrigley Field, and every time you hear the roar of the crowd, every time there's a fly ball because people think it's going out, you would think that Cubs fans don't know baseball, that Cubs fans are uneducated. And then it adds to the whole people go there for Wrigley, not for the team.
I don't think it's a Wrigley thing. The specific. It seems like it's been more because I think the crowd mics are louder. And so you get the ooh when a ball is hit in the air and you're like, that didn't even make the warning track.
Well, Sox fans always make fun of the Cubs fans about it, but I go, at least we have fans to react to fly balls at our games.
But the White Sox are helping yours out.
Did they win yesterday against the Rays?
They won 5 of 6, baby, after the All-Star break. White Sox are a new team. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, Gare.
Let's go.
Gare.
We need our wins.
Gare. Just wait.
Daddy needs you to get wins. And I like to see that you're winning.
Daddy,
yes.
You are the daddy of the White Sox?
All right. When we come back, we'll dive into some stuff that was mentioned out in Vegas yesterday. Steve Sipple will join us a little bit later. How great is college football? You know what is trending in the United States on X right now?
James Franklin.
No. He had a good day yesterday.
Very productive.
James had a good day yesterday. Good on you. You said some things that I went, trending is 37 days.
Oh.
Which is the first Saturday of college football. 30 days away from Farmageddon. 35 away from Nebraska and Cincinnati at Arrowhead, which may either ruin your weekend or make your weekend even better.
Until 3 weeks later, where we're in the same position over and over again.
This also might make your weekend. When you're done with the weekend, Nebraska opens up camp on Monday. We will have comments on Monday of opening day of camp for Nebraska. All right, off and running. Hour number 2 right around the corner on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in, Gary and Matt. Joey is in this morning, where finally talking season will come to an end for 2025. Last day in Vegas. You didn't know it. The ACC is still going on.
I saw a ACC Media Day story, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this
was
is cool."
Was it surrounding
too.
Bill Belichick?
No, it was surrounding their commissioner talking about AQs, and it's the fight for their life.
God, that's
or
new.
Something like that.
All this new stuff about the playoff format.
Yeah, something about the ACC being martyrs and victims, and they're just the little guy, and we got to stick up for them, and the big bad Big Ten is trying to force everything upon them.
Isn't Belichick today?
I believe he is.
Belichick and Dabo on the same day?
I think they are actually. ACC,
Iowa, USC, Michigan are all out in Vegas, where. Again, once we get past today, we get a little reprieve in talking season, and then we'll ratchet it up again. The big battle of the big, beautiful brains versus the just means more money between the Big Ten and the SEC. I've been curious on the dynamic of the fan bases of the particular team you root for and what league they're in. I think the SEC is all aligned. The SEC, from coaches to commissioner, to fans, to players they prefer that playoff format. Then Petiti rolls out his.
Mm-hmm.
Cignetti talks about it day one. Jed Fish talked about it yesterday. Not sure who will be the coach of choice. Maybe a guy who doesn't say a lot. Jonathan Smith will be the guy to, jab the SEC. But unlike the SEC, I don't get the sense that there is strong, overwhelming support for the commissioner's idea of the playoff from fan bases. Now, coaches, they're playing along, but man, they're stepping in it. Jed Fish yesterday, come on, bro. I mean, we want basically guarantees. Yeah, like every other playoff format that is out there. I don't sense the overwhelming support by Big Ten people of what Petiti is proposing.
It really just boils down to, do Purdue fans have a really big influence on have a big voice in general in the places that we convene and talk about things? Do Northwestern fans have really big voices? Do Illinois fans have really big voices? I feel like there are SEC fan bases and just SEC kind of maybe media core, if you will, that are just willing to step up on a panel and not die for the playoff format, but really voice it, where it's incredible to me. I know.
I will die because of 5'11".
It's like Braveheart. It's like you're willing to put your life on the line so you can have a 6-3 and a 3-5 playoff or whatever. But anyway, I mean, it's incredible to me that the Big Ten won the national championship in the last 2 years, yet the SEC has put themselves in the driver's seat in terms of making decisions. And the SEC had a bad year. The SEC did not have a good year. And yet through PR and through their commissioner and through talking and through fan bases and through coaches and through alignment, they've been able to just stand up and be like, no, we're in the driver's seat. We get to make decisions. I mean, it's not a good look on Tony Petiti at all that he has all of the arguments and all of the stats and all of the merit, and yet they're behind the 8 ball. How does that work?
Well, I don't.
They're fighting. The Big Ten shouldn't be fighting the uphill battle, in my opinion.
No. It also does not help when Jed Fish yesterday, when he's asked about the playoff format, which we're 30 days away from actually playing football games, is we don't want to leave it to chance. So if I'm going to go with that, then your commissioner basically is saying that September does not matter.
Yeah.
Conference records, which I know that, there is the real debate of 8 versus 9, but not all conference schedules are created the same. That doesn't get brought up very often.
Mm-mm.
So your commissioner is saying September doesn't matter, and all that matters is your conference schedule. And I mean, is Jed Fish, that's what he believes, that they should just start the year and they have guaranteed brands? I mean, I think the problem with college football is, and we got to get away from this, but it's been something around the sport, is the committees and people that talk about football don't talk about just this season. Like, just to talk about 2025. 2024 doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Okay, past history doesn't matter. How many teams you had in the playoff. Indiana making the playoff last year doesn't matter. Thank you, Signetti. He brought that up. This season is what matters, and let's judge it on this season, okay? Let's don't make this the All-Star game balloting where you reward a guy because he was good last year. Is he good this year? If he's good this year, reward him. Don't take into account what he did last year. I think that's a problem in, like, the committee and looking at teams instead of just starting fresh from, I don't look at any preseason polls. I'm just like, you know what? New season, here we go. And we judge you on 2025.
Well, the tradition and what you've done in the, being a blue blood program. Like, if you had to, we get down to this argument all the time, and we know that it exists. If you have Alabama and you have Boise State and you have those two teams and they have basically similar resumes, who's more likely to get in? We would all agree it's Alabama because of everything that they've done in the past and their recruiting rankings and stuff like that, as opposed to, no, let's just look at how they play football and who's the better football team. But Petitti was beating around the bush a little bit in his opening comments when he was talking about his 4AQ playoff methods. He goes, well, 8-4, that gets into most playoffs, right? If you look at professional sports. And a lot of people, and rightfully so, were kind of upset with that comment. But what Petitti needed to say was, whether you like it or not, college football is now basically a professional sport. We are operating as a professional sport in terms of players are getting paid, teams are having general managers. It's not just about coaching on the football field. It's about the decisions you have during free agency. We should take up a more professional sports model because of that. That's your argument. And
he kind of, so he told the part out loud, which, thank you, this is all about money. It's all about money. Why did the Big Ten go to 9?
9 conference games, so they can increase their inventory, and so their partners can buy another game.
So that means
they make more money.
Yes,
more advertising.
If ESPN went to, and I do think the SEC wants to go to 9. I think it is the people above football coaches that are limiting that conference going to 9 because they want ESPN to pay up. But if ESPN went to the SEC and they went to the presidents today and said, we'll give you extra money for one more game of inventory, the heads would snap because the SEC would go to 9 so quickly. So I'm glad that they got it out there. This whole thing is money. The sport now is being dominated by television networks and money. But as everybody's talking through schedules and 8 and 9 and this nauseating, it's somebody today will say something about the schedule and everybody will flock to it.
Yeah.
What's the difference if you're going to play a cupcake? What's the difference between playing a cupcake in September compared to November?
None.
Okay.
None. I think, well, can you elaborate on that?
So let's say Alabama plays Mercer in September and not in November.
Okay.
Is that a difference?
No, that's not a difference at all. But are you saying that people are getting they're getting really mad about the fact that the Big Ten is playing conference games?
Well, that's one of the things brought up is the SEC week off where they actually play a game is in November. What's the difference between playing a cupcake in November compared to
I don't think
September?
there's a difference at all. It's still football. You're still getting hit. There's still wear and tear and stuff. Is it to the same degree? No. But I really don't think that's ever been an issue. Now, I do think optically it does not look great for the SEC if Ohio State is playing Penn State on the road and it's a massive game and deciding the future standings, and your best team is playing, Mary Seat of the Blind or whatever, But I think that the SEC has done an incredible job of being able to battle through just completely being on the wrong side of this argument and still being able to come on top looking like they are better than everybody else, because they are. There's Tony, I think the one really mistake that Greg Sankey made during the SEC media day was, our teams, most of our teams play, or all of our teams play 9 power games. We play 9 power games. It's the Big Ten plays 10. 12 of the 18 teams are playing 10 power games. So that's not an argument. We're trying to even the field here in terms of what you were doing. And also too, if Greg Sankey and all these commissioners care so much about having, good non-con schedules and having more of those marquee early games, wouldn't the SEC going to 9 put pressure on teams like Indiana to be like, hey, now you are behind because teams in the SEC are playing 10 power games and you're only playing 9 power games. If you want to be a real contender here and have a resume good enough to make the playoff comparison to everybody else, you have to play a 10th playoff game.
So the Big Ten, which has a lot of factual stuff to brag about, they don't need propaganda. Doesn't it almost seem like your idea for an expanded playoff should be swapped?
Yes,
like the conference that has won back-to-back national titles should not be worried about a third-place Big 12 or ACC team getting in over a team that is fourth in the Big Ten. They should be like, we're the best conference. You know what? We're going to get our 4 because that's what we do. They should be the ones that are 5-11 versus the SEC that would be like, oh, no. We don't trust that committee because they screwed Alabama. We want our automatic 4. It's the reversal. Because if Petiti was up there talking about 5 versus 11, we'd be like, yes, hey, hammer down. Let's go.
No handouts.
But it's the reverse of how you talk. Like, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I have to support this, but man, that other part really makes it sound better of our conference because we're a really, really good conference. And we're not going to have to, we'll get our champion in, we'll get our conference champion in, but wait till we get 3 others in and they get on merit.
This is a fact. In the last 4 years, the Big Ten is the only conference that has no problem getting 4 teams in the top 16 in the college football playoff. They are the only conference who consistently gets 4 or more. That should be a sentence said by the commissioner during your opening remarks, being like, for those who think that this is just, we want our guarantees or we don't think we're good enough to compete on a 5-11 model, just so you know, the Big Ten has never had a problem making sure that we have 4 automatic qualifiers. It's just, we want to have, this playoff, or we want to have, more competitive non-con schedules. And this is how we think like this solves the problem.
So Petiti he just doesn't like the committee, right? That's kind of the general feeling I'm getting. He doesn't like putting it in the hands of a committee.
I think he just wants to, I've always looked at this as like insulation, like to having a bad year or having a bad turn or like just protecting yourself.
So sometimes you have a down year and you only get 8 in the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't like a committee, is the next one they're gonna make a comment about the selection committee for basketball?
I really think that this just boils down to he just wants to protect him and his conference, and he doesn't want any hoopla to get in the way of his conference getting money from the college football playoff and his conference, consistently being represented well in the college football playoff and the national stage. It also has a lot to do with, I think this more so has to do with him wanting to do this 10th, having this extra game, this extra play-in game, if you will, as opposed to having the conference championship
and
game.
He alluded to that. There's a money element that are involved, which sucks because a sport that 30 days from now kicks off and we get games and we can talk about games and players, and 35 days from today, we get a Nebraska game, 37 days, we get from Saturday, we get a great opening weekend, is he has said the part out loud that sucks for where college football has gone. Money and television networks have changed college football immensely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they changed conferences. They changed playoffs. They changed how we operate, how the whole model operates. TV and money have way too much power, but TV is the one that has changed the game across the board because TV holds you hostage. Again, if the ESPN said, what are you guys doing in the SEC? We'll pay you more money for 9. They're like, would you like us to play 10? I don't know why there isn't even a discussion about playing 10 games. Okay?
Yeah.
Play 10.
No, you're right.
Play 10. But it's the television networks, because now it is turning into Fox versus ESPN. Would it surprise you if Fox all of a sudden, I don't think they'll do like a crown for college football, but by the way, the crown got sliced in half. If all of a sudden Fox says, screw you, ESPN, we're not only going to challenge one of your biggest properties on a pregame, we're going to start having our own bowl games. You own all the bowl games. Mm-hmm. What if we, in our footprint of the Big Ten, said, hey, Minneapolis, would you like a bowl game? Indianapolis, would you like a bowl game? Any place else that has a dome stadium, would you like a bowl game? Sponsored by Fox. I mean, does that seem like a remote possibility? Or does that seem like, so you could see down the road if this escalates between Fox and ESPN, where everybody's trying to get their way with their money.
I think it's a definite possibility with Fox in doing it. Especially now, I don't know the bowl contracts or anything, or how any of that works, and whether or not teams are like if they have to pay extra to get out of them or anything like that. And so I don't know if there's really like a timeline or anything.
Oh, what if the Big
on
Ten
that
starts making deals?
and starts buying stuff out? I mean,
No, or the Big Ten says, "Hey, Fox put this bowl game together. Big Ten, we'll give you a team."
but I do think like the Big Ten does have to be a little bit careful in being the leader of the change in college football. And
In what way?
because we still there are a lot of fans who love certain aspects of college football that are currently that we're losing. We're losing certain aspects of the game. And even though that we're trending that way, I do think there are a lot of fans who, I don't want to call it denial, but they're still hanging on to the last threads of bowl games mattering and any team can win and it's all about perfection and whatnot. And the Big Ten just, I think it's, maybe take a little bit of a break, or, put the brakes on just a little bit, because if you're just always changing everything and you're in some fans' minds destroying or ruining or getting rid of some of the aspects of their favorite parts of college football, fans are going to be like, screw this conference. I don't like this conference. I don't like these teams. I don't like what they've done to the game. And so you'll start having people who empathize more, or sympathize more rather, to the SEC and to the ACT and to the Big 12, because you look at those conferences and you say, oh, they're trying to do college football right. They're trying to, hold the game together the way that I love it. And look at this Big Ten conference. They're making their own bowl games, and they're doing all these TV deals, and they're ruining these contracts, and they're adding these playoffs.
So you're not thinking a Super League is coming?
No, I think a Super League is coming.
Doesn't it seem like it? Some of the stuff that's gone on in the last like 3-4 months?
Massively. But I think that in this wake before, because we're not there yet. We're not fully there yet. You can't put yourself in the position where you're like the full villain that is completely like changing everything and doing whatever the hell you want, because it's a bad look optically. And if you lose support from the fans of your conference, that's just one really easy way to lose interest.
I understand what you're saying, but haven't they already put out the trial balloon? And they're like, you know what? People didn't leave. Ratings are good. TV money is fantastic. I mean, but we tried to rip the soul out of college football, and college football fans don't go away.
See, and you're totally right.
But it may be maybe because of case it's a regional sport.
But
college football is regional.
Oh, it is regional sport for sure.
And more people, I continue to say this, more people, you probably don't pay as much attention to the Big Ten and all the other dynamics that go on in this great sport. But now you're more locked in on your team. Whether your team has a real hope to be in a playoff or not, you're paying more attention to your team and less attention to the rest of the league until you play that team.
I think so. Well, you're paying more attention to your team because you just want your team to be good and be at the table, and win enough games and be relevant enough to when you have the Super Bowl.
Whether they're at the table or not, you only get 12 opportunities to root for your team. Look at the buildup. We've waited so long. Now we're 30 days away from college football. Like, can't wait. 35.
Yeah.
I mean, you only get 12 of them. That's why the NFL is so popular. You don't have 160 NFL games on a season. You only get so many opportunities. So that helps with the excitement, the enthusiasm.
I do think, also too with college football though, yes, most teams only get 12 opportunities, but we are now in an era too where you can end up playing 17 games in a season.
Yeah, 12 are only guaranteed.
12 are only guaranteed. But I want to go back to one thing you said about the whole, you rip the soul out of college football and people are still there. And you're right. And I'm not predicting at all that college football is going to die and there's going to be this massive dip in ratings and people aren't going to care anymore. But I do worry that the problem of people losing interest, you only realize that it's a problem until it's happening, until it's there. And at that point, when that stone is kind of hit down that hill and we get to the point where it's like, man, college football just isn't more and more people just don't enjoy it. And they're telling people why they don't enjoy it and explaining to them why they're not watching it. That is a snowball effect that is really hard to stop from happening. And so do
you think 12 Saturdays can make up for that though?
I think right now Yes, these 12 Saturdays and next year's 12 Saturdays.
Because once we
can.
get 30 days from now, I mean, I know this is still going to go on, but we're going to talk about the games. I mean, the games
Yeah.
will be here. Okay, we don't do the off season very well, but we do the in season really well.
But I think next season and the season after that for sure. But this isn't the future of college football isn't just 2025 and 2026 and what this new playoff format's going to look like. It's like what happens in 2030 when some of these ACC contracts start coming up and teams are being able to buy out of their conferences easier and they start going to other places, right? Like I just think that college football just the powers that be, and at this point it's just the commissioners of individual conferences, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like they just be careful, just be gentle. Okay. I'm not saying that they're doing a ton of things like incorrectly or wrong. And like we're
what would get you to quit?
Sport.
What would get you guys to quit college football?
Oh,
I mean, you both root for an NFL team
yeah.
pretty passionately. What would get you to quit college football?
If I was rooting for a team and that team wasn't in the Super League, if that team if I didn't think that team had a realistic opportunity to win a national championship or be competitive.
Okay. But you root for a team that would be included.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So go with that mindset of.
So I don't think as a Nebraska fan, there's anything that would make me not watch college football anymore because it's so embedded in the lifeblood of the university that I went to.
You would be more likely to quit because of how their win-loss record than the sport in general.
Yes.
Okay.
But if I'm like a West Virginia fan
and
I'm in the Big 12 and I'm not necessarily this massive power right now in the history of my program and I'm a little nervous, I'm like, my team could potentially be on the line of being in a Super League or not being in a Super League. If I'm like a team like that and then they end up not being in the Super League, I would be like, all right, I'm kind of done with that. Like my team can no longer win a national championship. My team can no longer play the best teams in college football. I would love to go to all these away stadiums, and learn more about the game, but I can't.
Be like my buddy Skip.
Yeah. Is he a Washington? Is he a Wazoo fan?
No, my buddy Skip goes to all
of
the FBS stadiums.
He works with Skip at Hy-Vee.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And he's already given me his plans for this upcoming season.
I think if it was a Super League and it only included two conferences, you'd be in trouble of just cutting off.
If it's too predictable itself.
If it's the SEC and the Big Ten together, I think you'd worry. I mean, that's where I'd be like, okay, now we've gone too far. If it was just those two conferences. But as long as the TV brokers and the people that run the purse strings of TV have more power than the commissioners, I don't think I'm wrong here.
No, you're not wrong.
So that's the scary part is the commissioners don't have control. It is television that has control. If television would have said to the Big Ten, hey, we want Stanford. You don't think Stanford would have been in the Big Ten?
I think so.
Okay.
But
the TV said, we don't want Stanford. Even though Stanford would be like, oh, I could see they kind of fit the profile and help the Olympic sports of the Big Ten. But TV said, nah, we're good. I
do think, though, that the Big Ten and the SEC definitely do have a lot more leverage. I think, like, they still definitely do have some leverage in terms of, like, how they can. I don't think Petitti and Sankey are necessarily just puppets for television programs.
But would the commissioner of the Big Ten be a proponent of the play-in game if there was not money attached? If promises were not made that, if you guys are willing to give us a little bit more money, we'll find a way to give you a couple of extra games. Would he have stood on principle and said, hey, they have no more money, so I'm going to let this go. We're not going to talk about a plan. Because now he let out the money part.
Yeah.
And now he's like starting to double down.
But I don't think the Big Ten is in a position where they're not going to do something they don't want to do. Like, I don't think the Big Ten or the SEC is in a position where there's something that they just vehemently disagree with, but they're getting so much money that they have to do it, and we have to take these dollars because we have to survive. I don't think they're at that point yet. But you are right, where if there wasn't the prize at the end of the rainbow for Petitti to have this extra playing game, he wouldn't be doing it.
It does suck as a fan. Like, we have no control.
Zero.
I mean, we're gonna show up 35 days from now and we're gonna root for our team. But in terms of having like a voice, like our only voice is with our particular team. You don't like that team, how they're playing, don't put your butt in their seat. Okay? But in terms of the sport overall, they got us.
Well,
they got us. And maybe maybe college football is too big to fail. I mean, I think sometime there might be a bubble that bursts with the TV money.
Or the
But
NIL.
but the NFL is too big to fail. Okay, the NFL is not going to fail.
Yeah.
College football kind of feels like too big to fail. But the fan doesn't over the overall sport. You don't have a lot of control.
Well, the problem is that, okay, if I'm out at Nebraska's having a bad season, and I stop going to their games, I start going to Memorial Stadium, message sent. But what am I still going to do on Saturdays? I'm still going to sit down and I'm going to turn on the Nebraska game. So even when you're
the goal is to have Nebraska make it through as long as the season as possible before you go, same old.
Yeah. But it's like, still, even when you're away from the stadium and you're not like taking in the product and you're trying to prove a point to your team, you're still benefiting the game and you're still benefiting Nebraska in a way, because now when Tony Petitti stands up in front of the Big Ten Media Days, what are some of the first stats he says? 9 out of the top 20 games were on Big Ten, we're Big Ten games, and we had 7 games over 8 million viewers. Like, that's still something that they're pushing. So no matter where the only way for you to ever stand up is to just stop watching the games. We're never going to do that.
Yeah, they got us because that's our school. You went to school there, and that's what you do.
See,
that's what we do in the fall. Saturdays are college, Sundays are NFL. They got us. I mean, it sucks, but they got us.
But
they got us. They lured us in.
But if we're
going to buy another streaming service because my team's going to be on there. We're going to complain about it, and then we're going to go, okay, what's my login? All right, can I get the free week on BTN Plus?
Here's the
By
thing.
the way, you get a free month right now
on BTN Plus.
Wow.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We need another team. We need another 4 teams to come into the league to give us a free year on BTN Plus, please.
So, real quick, you just talked about you root for them because you go to that school. I think and that's something that we're kind of losing in terms of the connection from fans to teams, because
people don't go to school anymore.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Really?
Like they don't, and it used to be cool to like go to. I was probably a part of the last era where you walk in and you're like, oh my god, that's a football player. Oh my god, that's a basketball player. Like, you know that person and stuff like that. And like now we're talking about, at the Big Ten Media Days, I thought it was very interesting that multiple coaches talked about the importance of education and the importance of GPA and the importance of like getting a degree and whatnot. Loxley talked about it. Bielema talked about it. PJ Fleck talked about it. And I think it's just important because I think it's one of those things where they're trying to say, hey, like it's still a student athlete. Like we're still college football. Like we still have the bones.
Whatever.
We still have the root. I know that we see through the BS. I understand.
That's a media day.
I know.
That's a media day line.
I know.
I mean, I know Rule did that as well. You know what? I know that they're student athletes, but let's be honest.
They're not.
They're athletes. Okay?
Well,
they're athletes that go to school. Yes, you want them to get a degree so that they're set when they don't play anymore. It's great that they have so many academic All-Americans, but
it is one of those things where what I was saying is
the guy says I have a 3.5 GPA. I'm like, what's his 40 time? Sorry.
No, it's true. It's true. But I'm saying I just think it's been interesting.
Sorry,
I'm just saying it's almost like it was on that memo.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that's why
they're trying to reconnect.
They are. You're right. You're right.
Know?
There are certain things you talk about at media days, but is Rule going to stand up next week and regurgitate his GPA?
No, God, no.
No, he'll be like, you know what? I say it 3 times a year.
Yeah,
I talk about our guys do well in school and they get degrees and we're happy for them. But you know what? You guys are going to be happier for them when they're scoring touchdowns and we're going to play in big games. You're not so happy for them when they walk across the stage at PBA to grab a little folder. You know, you're like, no.
Would you rather have your team grab 105 diplomas or 1 national championship? There you go. That's all I need to know.
That's like Nebraska playing Pacific. If you put up that poll question. We got to step aside. A little bit later, Steve Sipple will join us. His experiences in Vegas, what he heard, what he thought, and what was he feeling when he got ready to ask the question with Matt Rule right there about Scott Frost. Was he nervous?
Was he shaking?
Did he ask the question while he was holding up his phone and filming Rule's response, which is a thing at Big Ten Media Days?
The amount of people who now record everything on their phone is incredible. Like, it's like cameras are extinct.
We're back with more after this. It's Gary and Matt with Joey on 1620 The Zone. Hey, Moose Roofing. They haven't gone anywhere. They've been in business for nearly 30 years in Omaha, roofing your home or your business. Rain or shine, you know what? I'm going to give you a little rhyme. Strong roof keeps everything underneath safe, warm, and dry. That's right. That is Moose Roofing. You know what? Rainy days shouldn't mean leaky ceilings and mounting repair bills, but yet too often they do. So you know the way to fix those? Fix them with Moose Roofing. They'll be out just like that. Sean Michael, Pat, Randy, anybody else, the great crew, they'll be out to figure out what your needs are, get on your roof, go, this doesn't look good. That's okay. That's not bad. They'll get in your attic. Usually, you don't want people hanging out in your attic that are strangers. Moose Roofing, they're not strangers because they're well known over nearly 30 years in business, servicing roofs from Western Iowa all the way to Lincoln and in between. Communication is one of the top things they do. You'll never be surprised by a bill or something they're doing or someone that is on your roof. They have great communication. They work with your insurance company because they want you to be satisfied beyond belief. Excellent staff, quality service. Pat Moose, those are a couple of their core traits. To see how Moose Roofing can take care of you, again, rain or shine, a strong roof keeps everything underneath safe, warm, and dry. Moose Roofing, online at mooseroofing.com. All right, welcome back in. Gary and Matt with Joey on 1620 The Zone on this Thursday morning. Pat tweets in at Gary Sharp 1620. What if the Super League did relegation and the lowest record teams got knocked out and replaced by other teams like European soccer?
Yeah, but I don't think people recognize about European soccer is that there are a lot of teams in European soccer who what they do is they develop really, really good players and then they sell those players for transfer fees. And it's not that they're like making like really good strategical decisions. They're selling their players for transfer fees because it's keeping the club afloat. Like the point of like Southampton and Sunderland and, Norwich City and like some of these like EPL teams is we have to develop talent so we can sell that talent to Man United and Man City and then like keep our like our team afloat. Like that's part of like the intricacies that like goes into it. So it's not like the best examples in terms of like competitiveness.
But there's some excitement though of the teams that are at the bottom of, they call it the table?
The table at the bottom of the
Okay,
table.
the bottom of the table.
And the relegation.
That could be knocked out of the Premier League.
Yes.
Isn't there that like drive and...
No, that is cool. But like Leicester City winning that happens once. Like that's a one-time deal.
But still, that's a great story.
Yeah, and it's good. Just like TCU making the championship and Washington making the championship, like those are good stories, but they don't happen a lot. It's the same 5 teams every year that,
but there's that one moment that was a great story. I mean, I think I probably paid more attention that year up to that point of the Premier League because of that story and like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? But I'm talking like at the bottom, like where you give, I don't know, a group of 5, like Toledo has got a chance to get into the Super League.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
And Purdue is, relegated.
But
now,
I think I would rather have 40 to 45 teams, Well, okay, so actually, I don't want to say that. All I am saying,
man, great for the group of 5, right? You'd
I know,
be like, oh,
it is.
This could happen. But this could happen.
All that I'm saying though is that it's not like a relegation system is like an end all be all, like it'll completely fix college.
Pat was just making a suggestion, and others have.
Yeah, but I do like I've heard a lot of people say that, and I'm not saying Pat's saying it like that, but I've heard a lot of people be like, "Oh, this is like the thing. Oh, we'll have a relegation system and everything like that." They got to understand that a lot of these lower teams in these other leagues, first off, a lot of them never get up to the first. Like it's pretty rare, to really make your way up from the third league to all the way to the first league, which is why Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds and McElhaney is like such a big deal because it's never really been seen or done before, right? And then like a lot of those teams don't get up, and then when they do get up, the point is let's make good players so we can sell them for a lot of money and like keep our team afloat. Like it's not necessarily like ultra competitive where it's like any team can win at any point, and it's like, oh my god, it's like it's this thrilling year of like you never really know. Like, it's going to be Man U or Man City or like one of the London teams or Arsenal or Tottenham and whatever. Just throwing it out.
Thank you. I don't know enough about the Premier League.
I used to be big into soccer. Used to be massive. When Joey and I grew up, the FIFA video game was massive. It still is pretty massive in popularity, but it was big. Like, it was huge. And like you were a loser if you didn't play the FIFA video game. And so a lot of kids my age just had to become soccer fans so we could know more about, how to win at a video game.
I think it would be another possibility if we ever got down the road of being a super league, there would probably be some current Power Fours that would opt out that just cannot afford to be a player. They still want to play football, but they just can't afford to be in that tier. Or there might be some that are not attractive. Like you may look and go, I'm looking at what you spend on football and you're not really a football school and you haven't shown a sustained commitment to football. You just support football because you have to, but you're a basketball school. You know what? We're good. Focus on basketball. You can still play football, but you're not going to be playing in the Super League.
If there was 18 teams, or if there was a Super League, do you think all 18 teams of the Big Ten would get an invite and be in the Super League? Because I don't.
Yes, initially, because if you're the commissioner, you would bring them with you.
Sure.
You would be a strong proponent of we're merging.
Okay.
So we would go then 34, and then you would figure out the rest. I don't think, even though there are a couple that don't have as big of budgets as others, I don't think as a commissioner you can say, because remember, you have to play other sports.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
so
you do.
you
Forget.
You can't just say like, hey, you can't play football with us, but we'd love to have your basketball team. We'd love to have your blank team. Something I brought up yesterday that we ran out of time, that Matt Rule subtly made a comment about the schedule. I don't think Rule has commented really on the schedule at all, right?
No. God, no.
And I don't know. I don't know if any of us would go there and ask him the question about, hey, coach, you don't play a true road game until the middle of October. Not bad, huh? Huh? And he goes, "You're right."
Well,
he would say one game after another. That's all we're doing. We're focused on Cincinnati.
You know what the automatic S-list question is? Hey, coach, do you think that there's No. Hey, coach,
talk about Dylan.
No, I've done that before. He talked about Dylan a lot.
Did you say talk about?
No, I didn't. I go, what have you seen Dylan improve? You remember his quote? He goes, he's 10 steps ahead. Like when he said it, Dylan is 10 steps ahead. That was me asking, oh, how has Dylan improved? The whole, hey, coach, do you think there's added pressure to get wins this year, considering the fact that you have a really easy schedule heading into the season? That's the S-list question right there. Of like, I never want to talk to you again. Because, and then you know what the answer is going to be. Well, last year, everybody looked at our schedule and said it was going to be incredibly easy. And then Indiana ended up making the college football playoff, and Illinois won 10 games. Those were games that everybody thought that we were going to be able to win. And we actually came in an underdog as one of those games. So, no, I don't think you can possibly look at a schedule and say that it's easy or it's hard or you should have expected amount of wins in this league.
I would say, hey, I know times are a little bit different, but I'm the new Bill Snyder of the world in terms of scheduling. But he did do this. And he didn't go there, but filed this one away. He commented on 2 short weeks that Nebraska has. And we commented when the schedule was complete. So in 2 years on short weeks, Nebraska's 1-3. The only time they've won on a short week was when they won in Champaign his first year. But then they lost to Iowa. Mm-hmm. Last year, they lost to Illinois. They lost to Iowa. We've had 2 home games and 2 road games. This year is a little bit unique, and this is where kick times and also preparing the body and all of that stuff, your logistics. The Maryland game. Joey, you are the king of what you think will be start times. That start time is TBA. Yes, but sir. Remember, it's all the way out to College Park. I say all the way out. People in Oregon are like, you see, we're going to Evanston, we're coming back home, and then we're going to State College.
Crazy.
You go to College Park, and then you come back, and you go to Minnesota on a Friday. What do you think the Maryland kick time will be?
You would hope that game gets an early kick.
Can you go 11? Okay.
11 a.m. That's
now
the goal.
Here's the other interesting one, is at the end of the year. Now, he just brought this up. He wasn't complaining, but I thought it was very subtle to file away. End of the year. What could potentially be a big game. Now, granted, you have a week off before. Mm-hmm. So you have a bye week before you go to State College. If Penn State's in a great spot, and let's say Nebraska is churning towards a great spot, probably you're going to get an 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a big noon. But what if it's not, and all of a sudden it pops up on a night game? Nebraska would be outraged, right? Because
1,000,000%.
Short week, come home, you at least have a home game. It's Iowa on that Friday. So those are 2 things that he was asked a little bit about a schedule, and that's 2 things that he went to, is we have to prepare ourselves for 2 short weeks. How are we going to do with the logistics? Got to get guys' bodies and sleep and all of that kind of stuff. And they are 1-3 on short weeks in his career.
They're 1-3 in short weeks, and then they would be 1-4 in games that aren't played on Saturday, because you lose to that Thursday game to begin the year in his first game as the head coach.
I wouldn't take that because it was the first game of the year.
I'm just adding. Yeah. I'm not counting this as a short week. I'm just adding another little funny stat to the whole thing. But I think that Nebraska definitely has been at the short end of the stick when it comes to, days of the week that you play, and the being given short weeks and the times in which you play those games, and just, they made it very clear that they didn't want another Friday home game, and they get another Friday. They get a Friday home game. They didn't want that. They get it. They got to play.
They're going to get another one in the next 5 years.
Like.
Hey,
I know
the Friday. It worked.
Oh yeah,
it worked.
But they didn't want it to happen, and yet the Big Ten was like, too bad it's happening.
No, but if it's a home game, I think Nebraska is more interested in a Friday home game
than they were previously. You think?
Yeah.
But
they got more positive feedback.
You get a standalone game.
They got more positive feedback than they could have ever imagined from that game.
But even
from fans.
Oh, sure. And by the way, that atmosphere outside of Illinois or Colorado was absolutely incredible. And I do think too, I know that Nebraska lost and it sucked the next day, but it was kind of cool to like sit down on a Saturday and have like the Octo box on and not have to like stress and worry and like actually catch up with what else is going on in college football. But even before the Matt Rule era, and including the Matt Rule era, Nebraska pops a rating, right? Nebraska fans are going to turn on the TV regardless of who they're playing, and they're going to watch those games.
And that game was the highest rated Friday game of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And so Nebraska's gotten the short end of the stick of where they haven't began their seasons playing, tomato cans and tuning up or anything like that. Like your first game's got to be against Ohio State. Your first game of the year is against Illinois. Your first game of the year is against Northwestern. Your first game of the year is against Minnesota. Like that's all in like a 5-year span of like, you are pretty consistently the team that has to come on for the Big Ten and pop a rating to like get the year going. I think that Matt Rule and Troy Dannon are definitely in their right to be like, hey, we've done some things for you guys. Like we've made some sacrifices here, to our schedule in order to accommodate the popularity of the league and the things that you want to accomplish. We would like it if we kicked off at 11 a.m. against Maryland and Penn State. I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't.
No, if you have a seat at the table, I think you could make a strong recommendation.
And do they
TV, now again, Penn State, Nebraska would be a Fox big noon game. Like that would be very tantalizing. But if it's not, does somebody go, you know what? Hey, we'd love to have them on TV.
Oh God, yeah. Because even if Nebraska is still a double-digit point underdog, as long as they're not under 500 or just a bad football team, you're going to tune in and watch. Like people will tune in and watch the game and be like, "What if?" Like we'll have a "What if Nebraska wins" counter for sure. Like there will be points.
What if Nebraska 35 days from now is 1-0?
See, you don't
what if they are 0-1?
This is a thing that happens with me all the time, and you wouldn't really know this because you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And you win.
You lost the Super Bowl,
but you got to the Super Bowl, okay? And you won the 2 before that. But like
people forget
there are a lot of games that the Bears and even Nebraska will play, and they don't really have a shot in those games. But you'll still convince yourself, or you'll still think to yourself, like, hey, like what if, what if Nebraska did beat Ohio State? Like, what if this did happen? Or like, what if the Bears did beat the Buccaneers, like in their Super Bowl year? Like, what if it like occurred? Like, that's all the Penn State game has to be. It just has to be a thought-provoking, like, what if they actually were able to do the unthinkable and, like, pull this off? And a TV network would definitely come in and be like, yeah, we want that on our station.
Good news for the Penn State week. All the West Coast teams are playing each other. So you got Washington, UCLA, and USC, Oregon. So there's a game for NBC.
NBC. Oh, those games, the West Coast games.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Trying to minimize a short week for Nebraska.
John loves this conversation. He says, for God's sake, Rule is 12-13 overall. His record is going to suck for short weeks, non-Saturday games, whenever games. His record sucks overall.
Well,
he better get his S together. See, I've learned. No matter when the game is.
1 day since our accident. It's not even been 24 hours since our last accident. But I think, like, I get what John is saying, too, from the regard of, like, it's not like the team has been great and they've had...
Schedules matter.
Well, but it's not like this team has been, like, a college football playoff contender or, like, they're going to win a national championship.
But schedules are everything. We talk about schedules now nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
All about schedules.
It's exhausting.
I mean, how will Nebraska deal with a couple of extra days of preparation for Akron? Will that throw them off because they're going to get out of a rhythm? Because all of a sudden, when they should be playing on Saturday, they're going to be sitting at home playing video games and watching other people play. Will that throw off the mindset of Nebraska? Will Nebraska adjust the week? I mean, what does Nebraska – hold on here. Let me look this up.
These are all good questions.
Okay, let me look this up because people are asking. People are asking right now.
That'd be a great question for Matt Rule. Hey, Coach Rule, are you worried that because of your short week that too many players are going to be playing as themselves in their video games and it's not going to allow them to properly prepare to play Akron?
Let me see here. Okay. I'll look this up. Let's see. Nebraska. How far do we go on the practice schedule? I mean, to be honest, Nebraska is practicing at 9:30 in the morning on August 24th. So they're practicing on a Sunday. It's the only, let me scroll back up. It's the only Sunday that they practice in August. Could throw them off.
I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll probably be shorts and hoodies and whatnot, and they'll probably do a run through or whatever, and keep the legs fresh before they play the zips. I don't think you have too much to worry about.
Hold on. Let's see. There's 1 day, 2 days. Oh, so Monday when Nebraska begins practice at 8:30 in the morning, it's available to the media. The Big Red Preview is available to the media. And then
how many
August
open practices?
12th, 3.
Okay. Really?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it typically 4 that they've done in the past? I'm almost positive it's
everybody
been 4.
is nice. We'll
Is this a 3+1? Is that what this is? Have we done the Tony Petiti method of
looking
open practices?
Looking at a time, I believe their last major scrimmage will be on the 16th.
Do you think this is
Are they going to have their student practice? Because they're taking Saturday the 23rd off.
They announced that they are, I'm pretty sure.
I'm
almost positive they are. They should. That's actually a really fun event that a lot of people enjoy going
to. But they usually it's that Saturday before they're done.
They
Saturday
when they got rid of that,
school starts on the 25th in Lincoln.
Yeah.
They are not practicing on that Saturday because they play on Thursday because they start their game week on that Sunday. The other one of note that I saw here that was released yesterday is the Big Ten Network Camp Tour will be at Nebraska on Friday, a week from tomorrow. Wow, that's early. That'll be their first day in pads, too.
They'll be there when?
Next Friday.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the Nebraska must be, because Nebraska's starting early.
Sure. You got to get out of the way.
So I bet that is the first stop for the camp tour, which is kind of interesting. I mean, there's no comparison to other places they've been, but that's also the first day Nebraska's in pads. And, of course, a week from this Saturday is the fan day and then the Big Red Preview.
Are they not doing a bash at the Boneyard?
Well, they have that Saturday off because of the Thursday being a road game.
I hope they don't get rid of that because that was a ton of fun and a lot of students.
You know what? They're going to have one on September 6th.
Well, it's the Boneyard Bash. That's what it was. So it was on August 24th of last year. I'm actually kind of being like somewhat serious here because I really do think that there's a problem in college sports now that we really separate like the regular students and the athletes way too much. Like they've always been separated, but now it's like incredibly separated. And I think it's hard at times for students to connect to their fellow students that are playing on the field. And I think I'm being serious here. I think
when has this ever been a thing?
What, that you've never thought that? Okay. So before like all the money came in, before these
don't you go to school with athletes?
Yeah, but it's very different. It's very different now because, and I've said this before, they're making they are making a ton of money. Some of these guys are making a ton of money, and they're not necessarily going to like the dives that like people go to and like saving their money like people go to, and they're not like.
So you think that we have a disconnect because athletes aren't in the bars like you are?
No, I'm not saying that. I think there is a disconnect. I definitely think there's a disconnect between regular students and how they look at athletes, because the athletes, the fellow students that you're looking at, that you're going to school with, they're literally making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And
which you hopefully are once you get your degree.
Yes, but I think there's
or it's on just the side as a tutor, you could make that.
The lifestyles between athletes because of the money that they're making compared to the regular students.
I think that's always been the case.
Completely different.
There was no time in my time in Lincoln that I could relate to Tommy Frazier.
No, I know. That's what I said. I said that it's always been separated, but it's way more separated now than it's ever been because they get just literally paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to the school. that separation is larger. And so I think events like that, where you try and connect the students and the student athletes a little bit more, are good.
Yeah, they do that. I don't
I know
think I don't think this is anything.
That's what I'm saying, though. That I like the Boneyard Bash. I thought that was a good event because it did a really good job doing that.
Does every student athlete in Nebraska have remote classes?
Not every
aren't they
student
in
athlete.
classes with other students?
Not every student athlete, but there are plenty of student athletes that have remote classes. And just in general, just like I am not the same student as any of these other athletes are the same student. And it's never been that way. But what I said is the separation is much greater because a lot of the money that they're making, because they're making way more money, because they're making a ton of money.
So you think students don't go to games?
Students do go to games.
But they're making a lot of money, and you're like, I can't relate to them, so I'm not going to go to the games?
The connection between the students.
Oh, I don't think there's ever been. I don't think any students are going, well, man, I got a connection to that guy because, man, we both go to Nebraska. That's our connection.
I definitely do. That's college football. You have pride in your team because that's the school that you went to, because you went to the same classes as these guys. You did the same things as these guys. Yeah. You live very similar lives. And so you have a closer connection to them, because as opposed to like professional teams. That's always existed. Now that these players are making a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars, I think that connection is a little bit more separated because they live so much different lives than the other students do. I don't look at any of those athletes.
They've always lived a different life. They're just getting paid. I've never been like, man, you get to eat at the training table and I got to eat at Able. I looked at something like that. They are. I was there because I have an ability. They were there because they have an ability. Okay, I'm just not an athlete. They're an athlete. I'm not jealous or anything. I support them. You know what? Thank God I don't have student fees that support them. I mean, maybe I look at it differently. I don't know. It's kind of. I don't. I guess I don't.
I'm gonna be honest. That's how when I was there when that was happening. That's how some things were viewed. That it was just like I'm not. It used to be, okay, I'm a 19-year-old, you're a 19-year-old, you're just incredibly athletic, and because of how incredibly athletic you are, you're on the football field, and you get a ton of benefits because of that. Congratulations,
and that's
good
perfectly
for you.
Fine.
And that is perfectly fine, and that has always been the case. But I'm saying the separation is greater now because you have that aspect, and on top of that, I'm like, you're worth $2 million. Like, you are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm a student just like you, and I'm not even like, it's not even comparable to like the lives that we can live and the college lives that we live, right? Those guys aren't eating ramen. Those guys aren't struggling like for meals or food or anything like that, or like, going through any of the like college kid things that you might have had to go through, because they have a lot of that money, and that's great for them and that's good for them. And I don't have any problem with that at all. I'm just speaking on the connection between students and student athletes. I think because of money, that connection has been wider.
Okay. They still cheer at the games, right?
They do. I'm not saying that that's affected anything right now, that people don't like athletes or people aren't rooting for athletes.
So you think the jealousy is greater than it's ever been? Because that's kind of what you're alluding to.
I'm alluding to the fact that it's just known that I could not have lived a more different life in college than some of these student athletes, and that the plane that they are on in college are very, very different from what I'm on. And I think it's harder for students to fully connect, like on a personal level, with these athletes like they used to in the past because of that. I don't think there's a problem with student athletes making money. I don't think they should be punished for that or anything like that. All I am saying is that connection between students and student athletes is wider because of the money that athletes make and the different lives that they live, and that there are events that connect the students and student athletes. And I like those events because it adds that personal level of college football that you can't really get anywhere else. Right? I didn't go to class. I don't go to Hallis Hall class. I don't go to Chicago Bears class. I don't do any of the, I've never seen Bears walking around or seen, Kansas City Chiefs walking around or had any interactions with them at all or anything like that.
Okay, so just because it's not on this list doesn't mean they're not doing it.
No, I know.
They've done it, and it's a great thing. It's a student-only thing.
I know. This is more so of a bigger point and something that I believed in the fact that I think that money has caused, like, once again, just a little bit of a wider disconnect between students and student athletes. And I think that is one of the unique things that make college sports. And I think events like this, where you can better connect those two, it, keeps the integrity and keeps a lot of the base of what made college sports great.
All right, a little bit later, Steve Sipple will join us. Brian Edwards on Gary and Matt with Joey on 1620 The Zone. All right, this day for us olds, there are anniversaries. 1983 on this date, July 24th, 1983, Yankee Stadium. It is the 42nd anniversary of the Pine Tar game.
I don't
I don't remember, and I am young.
Yeah.
George Brett?
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get myself in trouble.
So
Where he sprints out from the dugout
Mm-hmm.
and he's like screaming it, like looks like he's going to beat the crap out of the umpire. It's a great moment.
42 years ago today. Do you know what is 40 years ago today? And this is closer to home.
Did Michael Jordan get drafted?
Terms of endearment. Actress Deborah Winger was ticketed for speeding and then Governor Bob Kerry's car. People were hiding in the bushes to see Deborah Winger and Bob Kerry dating. She got picked up for speeding on this date 40 years ago today.
I don't know who Deborah Winger
Have you had
is.
the chance to meet Bob Kerry?
I have not. I don't know who Deborah Winger is.
Terms of endearment actress. A little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was that was shot in Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
And
okay, that's cool.
They became a item during that time.
Okay.
We had a celebrity couple.
This woman was Wonder Woman? It says she's from 1976 to 1979. She played Wonder Woman. Good for her. Good for Deborah Winger. And what a dashing young woman.
John Bishop will remember this. Somebody called into Governor Kerry's radio show about this and her. It was quite the segment. I don't know if it lives out there in any audio form.
It's not. It's not. Because I've been through the audio forms recently of that place, and it's not there.
All right. Coming up a little bit later, Steve Sipple stops by his trip from Vegas. He's back home. Now we'll uncork the notebook, and Brian Edwards will stop by as well. And Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, Colin in the Equitable Bank inbox points out, he's absolutely right. Tim McClellan, who is the late Tim McClellan, who is from Des Moines, not only the home plate umpire in that game in '83, he also was the home plate umpire for the Sammy Sosa
Oh my
cork
God,
bat game at Wrigley.
that's incredible to be the umpire of two infamous events in base, probably two of the most infamous events, maybe in umpire baseball history.
Steve Sipple coming up in about an hour. I'm going to give you guys 3 teams, all right?
Okay.
Because PJ Fleck yesterday used the P word, playoff.
Oh my God.
And I had to go, okay, does Minnesota deserve more hype or another look at their upcoming season? Their schedule is kind of manageable if you're going to make a run for the playoff and if you're going to use the formula of, hey, let's try and find a way to get to 10. No matter what those 2 losses are, we're going to be in the mix. Minnesota could make a case. I don't believe that they are a playoff team, but we didn't believe that Indiana was a playoff team this time last year. If there's going to be another surprise Big Ten team, and I'm not going to include Illinois here because they wouldn't be a surprise. You'd be like, they won 10 last year. They returned basically all their starters. Yeah, that makes sense. Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska. You can only pick one. A Big Ten year that we have another surprise team, kind of off the radar. Iowa, Minnesota, or Nebraska.
I'd say Nebraska. I think that it is more likely that Iowa wins more games than Nebraska. I think that's more likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that Nebraska has a higher ceiling than Iowa, and that if everything were to pan out right for Nebraska and everything were to pan out right for Iowa, I think Nebraska would be a better team than Iowa. And they have a more manageable schedule. I mean, they have the most manageable schedule in the Big Ten. And so I think that, because I don't think any of those 3 teams are going to make the playoffs, to be frank with you. And I'm honestly kind of I'm probably closer to betting the unders on Iowa and Minnesota than I am betting the overs on Iowa and Minnesota. But I just think that like enough can't be said about the fact that Nebraska has a very interesting mix of like talented players who've also been on the field, who have shown flashes, who you have seen what a really good Cam Lenhart can look like. You've seen what a really good Riley Van Poppel and Dylan Raiola and Emmett Johnson and Ja'Cory Barney and, Gunnar Gatula or whoever the hell else will be at the tackle position on the offensive line. Like you've seen
Tyler Kinnick.
Yeah, you've seen the best versions of a lot of players, whether it be for a very small sample size. You've seen it. And so the idea that, all right, if you're able to like unlock that consistency, I think Nebraska, with the fact that they really only play one hard road game all year, definitely has a better chance of making the playoffs than those 2 teams.
Joey, surprise team of these 3 to make the Big Ten, from the Big Ten to make the playoff, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska.
And I agree with Matt. I will go with Nebraska just because of how the schedule looks for the Cornhuskers. It's favorable. And you get a first conference matchup hosting Michigan. If they could win that game, they're going to fly high for the rest of the season. They don't have Penn State until late in November like they always do. And that usually is a sleepy game of the season. Nebraska's usually gotten the upper hand against Penn State. I think 2 out of the 3 times. That one time they lost was, I think it was in Mike Riley's last year when they got blown out by Saquon Barkley. But looking at Iowa's schedule, they got Penn State, Oregon at home.
Good call.
Luckily, they got those 2 home games and not have to go to State College for a potential whiteout or at Eugene, Oregon. But after that Oregon game in November, they have to go to USC, and that could be a potential 9:30 kickoff. Who knows? And then a quick turnaround to go back home to Michigan State and then at Nebraska. But Nebraska's schedule is very favorable. Not a lot of tough opponents. Most of those teams are below Nebraska in that preseason ranking from the Cleveland.com website.
Yep.
So expect Nebraska to have somewhat a similar season to Indiana from last year, only Nebraska got an actual Power 4 team under non-conference schedule.
Also, too, Joey, to your point, like, so Iowa does play Penn State and Oregon, which, are the first and third best or 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. But even the the other teams that they get on their schedule
Oh, yeah.
aren't walks in the park either. They got to play Indiana.
Yeah, totally forgot about them at Iowa State too.
That's not going to Iowa State. That's a tough non-con game. Like Minnesota, like that's always a competitive game against those two teams. You mentioned the USC game, but I think Michigan State is going to be a lot better than I think people give them credit
Michigan
for.
State might be quiet this season. They
might be building something over there.
They might be.
They got a good coach.
They got
Jonathan Smith was a really good hire. He had to come in and pick up the pieces, and then to bring Aiden Childs with him. They're probably a couple of years away from being 8-9 range.
Sure,
but they cannot be overlooked. I mean, coming out of a bye week, they come to Lincoln in October.
That game, it freaks me out a little bit. That Michigan State Nebraska game. I think that if you were to pinpoint a trap game on Nebraska's schedule, I would say it's the Michigan State game, because I don't think the Minnesota game's a trap game. I think everybody knows that that's going to be a war. Like, that's going to be a tough game to win. Same thing with the Iowa game. Like, I think that Michigan State game is a game that a lot of people just kind of glance over. And they're like, oh, you're at home. Oh, hopefully you're coming off of like a Michigan win. Michigan State isn't that good. Like, you're going to have the support of the crowd behind you. Like, okay, you should be able to win that game. I look at that game as like, I've seen Nebraska lose that game before.
You might look.
I think the Maryland game.
That might be a sleeper game.
So because you're playing in a place you don't normally play, it's at least you have a bye week going into Michigan State.
Yeah.
So you can kind of focus on one game, and you might be 4-0, and then you might be good to have a bye week. You know, soak that up, get away from things. You come and play Michigan State. It's at least at home, but then your first true road game, you got to go all the way to Maryland. Play a place where you don't normally play. You know, it might be a little bit sleepy. You're thinking, okay, we got Minnesota coming up on that Friday night. Let's get in, get out. And you know what? You get in and you're like, damn, the Minnesota game's kind of changed. I don't know. It's and Lincoln Riley will speak today. Do we just gloss over USC on November 1st?
I think we all acknowledge that that's going to be that'll be a tougher game, but I do think in order to get the full scope of that matchup, you really need to see how both teams have played heading into it. Because in their own right, both of those teams have a lot of question marks in terms of how are they going to be this season. Like, I think USC be a good team, could end up being a really, really good team by the time they come to Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could go on like Paul Feinbaum was talking about Lincoln Riley yesterday and said some, not so.
He was
nice
on Dari's
things.
show a couple days ago. Yeah, he went on Dari's show and just he knew his audience in Norman.
And like, I feel like we forget, or at least Feinbaum forgets, like that guy won like 60 games in 5 years, or damn near close to that. Like, he has proven that he can bring in talent and that he can turn that talent into wins, in a top conference. Because when he was winning in the Big 12, Big 12 was still considered one of the top conferences in the nation. Like, I think that USC definitely could walk in and be a great team. I think definitely USC could walk in and be like, okay. Like they might be similar to Nebraska. They might be very evenly matched, and then you kind of give that edge to NU. But like, I think that's a wait. I think everybody knows it'll be a tough game. I think that's a wait and see though, in terms of like what the full breakdown of like what that'll be.
All right, Huskers X's and O's. A couple of things. He's a big fan of Dude Wipes, by the way, from a conversation way back in the first hour, especially if you're going on a cruise, Joey.
Never been to one.
X's and O's got his family back. They were in Alaska on a cruise. Single ply, he says. So if you want Dude Wipes, dudes, that's a ringing endorsement. He also adds about Iowa's schedule. So Iowa has benefited from playing the bottom half.
Mm-hmm.
They play 5 of the top 7 teams in the league this year, and Nebraska is one of those 7. That's my rankings. Plus, he also adds this caveat about Iowa. They play not to lose instead of to win. They always have a high floor ceiling.
Yeah,
they're is Gronowski in Vegas today with Kirk Ferentz?
I can look.
Is he one of the Iowa players? Because he is one of the ultimate wild cards in the Big Ten this year of how he's going to translate from being a successful FCS quarterback that won a championship at South Dakota State to playing at Iowa, where it seemed like every single year they're searching for just competency at quarterback. And if they can get that, then they might be okay. Or if they get above that with everything else that Iowa does on a regular basis, they're going to be better than okay.
Not a representative for Iowa at Big Ten
And that
Media
might be
Days.
he's a first-year guy, hasn't played a game. That's a decision Kirk Ferentz made.
Isn't it
Or a
incredible?
kid will be asked about his injury the entire time.
The evolution of how Iowa has tried to establish their quarterback position, I think, is quite remarkable in terms of the archetypes of guys that they've gotten. Right, they go out, they get Petrus. He played. He was at Utah State, right? And so, or no, he went to Utah State later. Regardless, they go get Petrus. They try Petrus out, doesn't work out. So they go, oh, hey, Cade McNamara, you lost your job to J.J. McCarthy.
Mhm.
We still think you're a capable quarterback. We're going to go ahead and put you in. That fails. Then they go, oh, hey, Brandon Sullivan, we don't think you got a proper opportunity to play quarterback at Northwestern. Hey, come here and play here. He gets hurt. That doesn't work out. So now they've gone to, all right, we got to get proven production out of the FCS. I think Iowa and Michigan are in very similar spots in terms of they've lost a dominant running game and lost dominant running backs that they've had in the past, but they have still been able to keep their identity within the offensive line and on the defensive end. And that in itself, raises the floor of that team. But now you have, it's really just going to come down to, can you have good quarterback play? I do worry, though, with Gronowski.
But the ceiling, you would agree, the ceiling's much higher.
Oh, it's much higher
for Michigan. Much
higher for Michigan than Iowa. But I worry about Gronowski. I just feel like we're kind of just glossing over the fact that Caleb Johnson just isn't going to be on the team this year, and that he was incredible last year. And that's a really big piece of their offense that they just lose. And it's not as if Iowa has heavily invested in, the wide receiver core to the point where you're all right, they have a top 10 in the league.
Now, I like Tim Lester as their OC. I'd take Dana Holgerson over Tim Lester any day that ends in Y. The one thing, you're absolutely right about Caleb Johnson because of what he did for them last year.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were a championship team. But on July 24th last year, were even Iowa fans talking about Caleb Johnson? It's it's one of those Iowa things. There are parts of Iowa football that you go, you can kind of get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, they're leading.
They're going to be good in the trenches.
Yeah,
they're probably going to have really good linebacker play. They're going to have one stellar defensive back, and they're probably going to find a running back or two, and it all comes down to the quarterback. And the lack of game-changing wide receivers.
So they return 3 starters on the offensive line. One of them is going to be an All-American, and Logan Jones. He's their center, and so you're totally right. And okay, you could say, hey, the offensive line can make the running back. The running game can be effective because of the experience that they have up front. But their leading wide receiver is a transfer from Northwestern who had 400 yards last season. That's and they don't have, at least not on the preview. And I don't know if this is, you might have read a different preview, and that might have it. So you can correct me where I'm wrong. But it doesn't seem like they have that All-American tight end, either. Where it's just that he's going to be at least that's not in the previews that I've read, that they have that, TJ Hawkinson, Noah Fant, Sam Laporta type guy, where it's he's your safety valve, he's your dynamic pass catcher at the tight end position. I might be wrong there, but I just can't get over the fact that it's just hard for me to invest in a quarterback and an offense getting better when you just don't have enough weapons to throw to, when you just don't have true, and it's not as if Iowa doesn't. I'm not complaining that Iowa doesn't have 3 or 4 wide receivers. Iowa doesn't even have a number 1. They don't even have a guy where it's oh hell yeah, he's gonna come in and he's gonna be the dude and he's one of the top guys in the league. They don't have that, and so I think it's a tough position to put Mark Gronowski in, where he doesn't have that star wide receiver. He doesn't have that superstar dynamic running back, at least for right now. Now, he'll be behind a good offensive line, so that will help him. And maybe they'll use his legs a little bit too in that offense, which I think last year when Iowa used Brendan Sullivan in the run game, that was probably the most dynamic their offense had looked all year, especially when they played Wisconsin. So I don't know. It's just hard for me. It's really, really hard for me to just be yeah, Iowa can make a run this year in the college football playoff. They're really well coached. They have their system. They do what they do. They don't make a ton of mistakes. They just don't have those dynamic, game-changing playmakers on the offensive end.
They do have the formula, and this isn't a formula I'd like to live by, is if you are going to be lacking skill talent, just jaw-dropping, you make up for it in other places. You're really good in special teams.
Yeah.
You're really good on the defensive side. and you have offensive linemen.
and
That's
that's-
like that is the blueprint in the Big Ten to win 7 games.
Isn't it incredible though how simple that sounds, and that multiple teams?
That's what Iowa is.
Yeah, but like even
Yeah.
Minnesota to a certain extent,
Yeah.
has done that same thing, and
Yeah.
it's like you would think that there would be more
Yeah.
teams who would look at that model and be like, okay, we got to
Well,
go in and we got to
They
get a
did.
high.
They did when it was the Big Ten West.
Yeah,
You can't do that anymore.
because you can't compete like
Yeah.
that against Oregon.
I mean, PJ Fleck has lived by. They've done the same thing over and over and over. Can they continue to do that and have success, Minnesota success, or will there be a demand of you got to have current Big Ten success, which is different from winning 8 games?
Well, but
And he kind of went there yesterday, but he stopped himself because I mean, we still clamor for the Big Ten West.
have we ever
We want the Big Ten West back.
like don't
Let's play Big Ten West football.
like have we ever
I got beat up last year if you're going West versus East.
well, didn't Fickle say yesterday like this ain't the Big Ten West anymore or something like that?
I
That's
think they
one
were
hell of a statement
8
from
and
him.
16 against old West teams against East teams. All right, we got to take a break. Steve Sipple's coming up in the next hour. We'll pick Brian Edwards' brain as well on some win totals, including Minnesota and their coach that buttered up Nebraska fans.
Yeah,
I think
we
he
all
likes
took-
rule. I think game recognizes game if you're a program builder.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, I can see what you're doing because
Doing-
I've done the same thing.
Doing less with more. I
Yeah.
mean, you're talking about two guys who've done that quite well.
He also said something about why he's at Minnesota. That I don't know. Maybe Fleck is more of a lifer in the Twin Cities than we think. He alluded to something yesterday about why Minnesota is good for him. We'll get into that as we roll till 10 on 1620 The Zone. South Park fans,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
did you watch last night?
I did not.
I did.
I did not. Is it good? I can't. I know. I woke up today being like, I can't wait to watch it later today.
Let's just say the season 27 premiere, they did not hold back. After saying they were not going to dip their toes in politics, let's see, what did we have last night? This won't ruin it for you.
It's okay.
We had a little AI nudity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Satan Snuggles.
Yeah, we got some callbacks to characters from the old seasons.
Yes, and if you watch South Park, you understand the brutal satire that they have.
Yes.
That is, well, they went a step further with not only the politics, which has always been part of South Park, even though Trey and Matt said they were not going to do it. They flipped the script last night. They went after media companies.
Oh, yeah.
How did Fox News get buried, or did CNN get buried, or
no.
Okay, other news. I've never.
It's almost like it was a real time episode.
Yeah.
Because Paramount was their ire. It was really good.
They just signed a deal with Paramount.
Yeah, for a
$1
Did I say it was $1 billion?
Yeah, it was $1 billion.
Yep. And they went after them last night. It was pure chaos. The whole episode is chaos.
I have to watch it. Do we all have a favorite South Park episode off the top of our heads?
Man, Bear, Pig.
Okay, that's a good one.
Good call.
It's a good one. I love the Lance Armstrong spoof with the. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Where they found out that Jesus was doing his miracles while on HGH, and they had the WWJD. They were all cutting off the yellow WWJD wristbands. I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's an incredible episode of South Park.
Last night may enter the conversation.
It was that good.
Yeah, it will.
How about the episode where Cartman kills the kid's parents, cuts him up, and has him eat his parents in chili?
Scott Terminen.
Yes,
that's season 5.
That was incredible.
Too. I got another one.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe's little show, Fighting Around the World. Every time that episode pops on, I just stop doing everything, just sit down in the living room. I wish that was a real-time TV show. Russell Crowe, Fighting Around the World.
I never had a friend named Kyle, but I wish I did. I wish I had a really good friend named Kyle, so I could just say, "Shut up, Kyle."
Yeah, I think you. So you remember the Cartoon Wars episodes?
Oh yeah.
Oh, with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, where you laughed. You will do that last night.
Yeah. So I don't know what episode it's from, but when Cartman, they did an NCAA episode where Cartman was an owner, if you will. And
I know what you're talking about.
He walked into the University of Boulder, and he's like, "Yes, these student athletes, that's a mighty fine term to use."
He dressed up as a cowboy.
Yeah, just up with something else.
Texter Jordan chimes in. He says, "Classic episodes: Elementary School Musical and Pouring Stupid would be among the ones that he liked." Last night's going to be one of the best.
It's up there.
I think I'm just going to go home and watch the episode and then just watch a bunch of old South. There's some bars that I would go to in college that would have South Park on. You would just go and you would chill out and you sit down there.
I think South Park, all the seasons are on HBO Max. If I remember.
Hell yeah. There was a South Park the movie that was released on Netflix. When before Netflix was even making original movies, that was really, really good. And then, Joey, did you ever play the South Park video game?
I did not.
The Stick of Truth?
Yes, I played both games.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah,
I only played the Stick of Truth.
Yeah, the Stick of Truth was the World of Warcraft, and then they did the other game was the superheroes.
Okay, I didn't play that one. I played the Stick of Truth. The Stick of Truth is one of the funniest spoof video games of all time. I mean, it's basically a 3-hour interactive South Park movie that hits all the high points.
And the superhero game's the same thing. It's just the sequel.
I'm telling you, there was one bar particularly in Lincoln that they would always have South Park on, and I would always and it was one of those snack bars too, where they would give you goldfish or they would give you pretzels to eat at the table or whatever. And me and my buddies would go on Sundays and we would just sit, we'd have a couple beers, and we'd have them turn up the volume to South Park, and it was incredible.
PJ Fleck, I don't think he's ever been on South Park.
He looks like
Even though-
he looks like
he
one of the
looks like a jerk.
Canadians.
Hey, even though it would be like if he showed up on South Park, you'd be like, okay, this makes sense. So he spoke yesterday, and he spoke highly of Nebraska and what Matt Rule is doing. Don't fall for the trap. He's buttering us up.
1,000,000%.
So this is, I got a text yesterday after Fleck spoke or his comments got out because he was talking on a side session, and it was Nebraska media that was asking him. And I think they started asking him about the game in the middle of October. And that's where he came up with Nebraska's a dangerous team. Do you guys think that there is a world where PJ Fleck clamors for the Nebraska job? Because I got asked this on text from a friend yesterday.
Yeah. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I don't know about this, but he may be setting himself up. He likes the Nebraska job. I'm like, I don't think Nebraska would never hire PJ Fleck.
What, you'll never put the row the boat on the the uniforms?
Because he's at the right place for him because they turn the entire program over to him, and so you can brand it.
Yes,
People would Devaney would come back.
But
if there all of a sudden was an oar on the Nebraska helmet, it works for Minnesota. It wouldn't work at Nebraska. What I would want of PJ Fleck is that his players love him and they play hard and they do the Big Ten West things the right way. I would take that. I just don't think the whole experience of the branding of your football program would be ideal.
Okay.
But he did say something yesterday that, because his name was attached to UCLA and his agent is really good at putting his name out there. But he is now going into his 9th season. No secret. They have, they don't have the resources that others do.
Mm-mm.
And also at Minnesota, something back to our previous conversation, I think Minnesota student fees are going to start going to their NIL rev share. I think that's happening at Minnesota. And Minnesota's already got some financial issues on that campus. But he said, we have less resources. And so I like being able to do more with less. And I'm like, you know what? You are at a perfect place. Not knocking his coaching ability.
Sure.
But I think he is better at places that have low expectations and have low expectations the entire time through. They never do the EKG and they go up and down. They're like, you know what? Hey, you're better than 7-5. We're good. And just keep doing that. You might slip back. You might have a season like 2019. I think PJ Fleck is ideal for places that have low expectations because more often than not, he's going to exceed them. And he knows his lane, not to go to a place where the expectations are through the roof. Like at UCLA. Aren't the expectations at UCLA very similar to the expectations of Minnesota?
I would say so.
Yeah.
But the talent pool that you have in LA, I think is, and Minnesota's a good athletic state in terms of high school prospects, but I think you would probably have more to work with in terms of talent if you went to LA. I've always, and this is like the kind of the college football, for lack of a better term, that I grew up in. Like, what's wrong with just being at a place where it's okay to be 8-4, 9-3, and people are very excited for you to go to the Holiday Bowl? When people are just they're happy that, hey man, we have less than 2 losses heading into November. Like, that's a really good spot. Like, you'll never get fired. You're going to get paid really good money. You have a ton of respect. And I do think that 2019 for PJ Fleck proved that, hey, we can have a lightning in the bottle year. Like, we can have a year where just all the pieces kind of come together and we can legitimately, especially now in this era of college football, compete for a college football playoff spot. And so I think the CFP honestly probably extended the life of coaches similar to PJ Fleck because now it's even easier to reach kind of that upper echelon of what we consider to be national college football territory. Back to I don't think you can ever say that PJ Fleck can't coach in high pressure places because he hasn't done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I don't know why you would want to put yourself in that situation if you have a very cushy job. Like Pat Fitzgerald never wanted to put himself in that situation.
Yeah, I don't think your buddy, Pat Fitzgerald. I don't think he was mentioned for Notre Dame, USC. I think he was perfect for Northwestern. Low expectations.
He got offered
good
the Green
football
Bay
coach,
Packer
low
job.
expectations.
He got offered the Green Bay Packer job. Straight up from Mark Murphy.
Ooh, how would you have reacted?
Your
Favorite all-time college football coach coaching the team that you hate the most.
Well, I love him even more because he went to Mark Murphy and he said, I grew up a Bears fan and I appreciate the offer and it's an incredible franchise, but I can't look my buddies in the face as the coach of the Green Bay Packers. And he turned him down.
You gonna be okay with his son playing quarterback at Iowa?
He's not gonna play quarterback at Iowa.
Are you playing quarterback at Iowa?
Oh, he's listed as a quarterback at Iowa. He's gonna be a middle linebacker. They're gonna switch him. I'm telling you, I saw him play. I saw him play at Loyola Academy. He is big, he is fast, he is athletic. He was a victim to, hey, you grew up as the best athlete, so you have to play quarterback because we can't move the ball without it being in your hands every snap. Eventually they will move him to defense, and he is going to be a nightmare to play against.
I think he's starting the year 3rd on their depth chart at quarterback.
Okay. Like, he's not, but he's an athlete. He's not a quarterback.
So there's hope for like a guy like Davila. If it doesn't work out, he can play middle linebacker?
Maybe. I mean, serious. I mean, they did it with Heinrich. They thought about it with Heinrich. I mean, they did the same thing with him, kind of.
I'm actually surprised that his position isn't his dad's old position.
It literally was. He just grew up in that side of Chicago, and it was just like, yeah, Fitz is the best athlete. He just has to play quarterback. I watch him. He is just like his dad, like how he moves and how he just rumbles and tumbles. Like, he will fall forward for like 8 yards. It's absolutely incredible. He's a very good football player. I think he'll be a good linebacker. But anyway, like, back to, like, there's nothing wrong with doing that stuff. I don't know. I think with Fleck, like, it's weird because you would think a guy like that who like loves to win, is such a competitive coach, would one day want to like be like, all right, maybe I do want to play with a little bit more at one point in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I do want to just have this opportunity to like have blue chip prospects fill up 65% of my roster, 75% of my roster. Because the difference between Fleck and Fitzgerald was that, you know, Fitzgerald was alumni of Northwestern, grew up in that area, had his family in that area, his parents, everybody, like, he was a Illinois, Chicago kid, and that was like his dream job. Like PJ Fleck in his opening statement at the podium for Minnesota was like, yeah, like, we like being here for the last 9 years. It's a home. We got a house. Like, we built a good family. But it's not like he wasn't like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine myself being anywhere other than Minnesota. Like, I've always wondered if he would ever try and give himself a chance to do that.
Matt writes in, this is a good comp. The Minnesota coaching position is like Iowa. PJ Fleck is like Ferentz, staying there for 20 years, make money, be respected, be happy. Kirk Ferentz today at Media Day, 27th media gathering, 27 years. So Fleck is gone his first year. So he has the great year at Western Michigan, gets the gig in the Big Ten. 5-7, 7-6. The one thing about the 2019 season, they beat their 2 biggest rivals and still did not go to the Big Ten championship game. Then the COVID year, they were 3-4. Then they went 9-4, 9-4. They had a down year in 23. That wasn't a very good team. They were 6-7. They had a bunch of injuries. They lost some guys. But then last year they bounced back and they were 8-5. They lost a weird game at the end of the year at Rutgers.
Yeah.
But they could have been an 8 or 9 win team.
They had 2 high quality victories, one against USC, one against Illinois on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And they were and when they started giving that ball to Darius Taylor a little bit more, that's when that offense really started to churn and they started to play more similar to a brand of football that they've had.
You know, like there's probably plenty of Flecks and Ferentzes in the Big Ten where they're at the perfect spot. They can be happy, like Matt's email alluded to, win 8-9 games. Yeah. Everybody is happy. One year you're going to win 7, but if you bounce back and you win 8, it'll be okay. That you know your lane, and why chase the golden goose and be like the next Georgia coach? Like, for example, Cignetti might be that guy.
See,
Cignetti might be great at a place where the expectations are going to change at IU, but it is not Ohio State. It is not Michigan. But when I look at a guy like Fran Brown at Syracuse, I think Fran Brown is ideal for a big job in the SEC. Ooh, not hey, let's stay at Syracuse where they haven't had a lot of success. We could have quite.
I think we're missing something here.
What if Rule? Now Rule is different because the expectations temple to Baylor to Nebraska are different, but there are more guys like that just a perfect spot for them. They're not going to chase the golden goose. Now, I think Nebraska's expectations are much greater than Minnesota's and Iowa's by far. But the Signettis, the Flecks, the Ferences in this conference where they don't have more money than God, but they play good football. They have a blueprint. They like their job. They like the city they're in, and they're just solid. Why go anywhere else? Because when you go somewhere else, maybe you get exposed. Hey, if I'm Fleck, I like my name is out there. Like, hey, UCLA, it's going to happen. All these other jobs. Notre Dame, I might be the next Notre Dame guy. But at the end of the day, Minnesota's perfect for me.
But I think
we don't have as many resources, so the expectations are not through the roof.
I get it, but I get it with a team like Iowa. Like Iowa makes more sense to do that. I don't know. I just think it's very unique from coach to coach. Like, because Fitzgerald was an alma mater. Like, that's where he went. So that's where he's going to stay. And Ferentz, like, Iowa is a really, like, traditionally just a really good football program. And it's not like it's never been a meh, like, job by any means. Like, Ferentz getting that job, it was a big deal. And the Iowa job is, in my opinion, better than the Minnesota job. So it makes sense to hold on to that for as long as you can. Same thing, compared to Indiana. It's just hard for me to look at Signetti, and he has really no tie, like personal tie to Indiana, other than, they looked at him, he did great at JMU, they hired him, they think he can be a good coach, right? Like, I don't think there's any difference. Like, I'm not.
But does Signetti strike you as a guy that's using Indiana to get to Alabama? And I just use Alabama as an example.
I think Signetti is just a guy who wants to win. I look at Signetti and Fleck very differently, because I think Fleck has shown that he is comfortable at Minnesota, and I'm sure he's had opportunities to leave Minnesota, and he's decided not to, and he's just comfortable there. Signetti has only been there for 1 year, and so I don't think I can say, they're pretty similar, and Sig is going to stay for a while. I think Sig could make the college football playoff this year and then leave the next year, right? I think Sig just strikes me as a guy who wants to win. Like, he's just going to do everything he possibly can to win. And if you give him a better opportunity to win more games, I think he will take that opportunity. Now, credit to Indiana. They have given him the money and the resources and the investment to not think that. To think, I do have enough here. And I think, adding to your point, I think if Signetti was looking at a job that had more prestige, but he was given the same resources as he was at Indiana, he would stay at Indiana, because the bar is lower to clear in Indiana than maybe that other higher prestige program.
I mean, we could use an example of a guy that we've already used the quota for using his name on the program this week, that it fits into this role of be at a place that has lower expectations.
Yeah.
You know what? And you're always overachieving, but the expectations never go up.
And the pressure is never there either.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. The pressure of Minnesota is kind of, that's a discussion later as we get towards that game. But PJ Fleck likes Nebraska. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a PJ Fleck trap. But I think that he does really like Rule.
I think
in the past he didn't like other people.
Well, if we're going on are you cut from the same cloth or not? I think the other people weren't cut from the same cloth, and Rule was.
All right. When we come back, Joey's going to give a breakdown of the Packers imitating a team in the Big Ten with their special jersey release.
Sexy.
No, it's not.
It is.
If you play that song to head into another segment again, I'm going to get really mad because I didn't acknowledge it twice now.
I'm not going to repeat things.
We're back with more Gary and Matt after this. It's 1620 The Zone. All right, GQ Joey. The Packer special jerseys are out. They
GQ
consulted
Joey?
Brett Bielema. Compared to previous throwbacks, how are we feeling about the 2025 Green Bay Packer throwbacks?
I think they're perfect. It's celebrating the 1920s Green Bay Packers. Got a custom helmet that's looks like a little bit of leather, but it's a helmet, obviously.
Spray painted on?
Yes. Navy blue jerseys with the gold stripes. Now the question is, when are they going to wear those jerseys?
Got to be for the Steelers game, right?
Nah. I
No?
think the whiteout uniforms,
Okay.
they want to wear these uniforms at home. So probably the Bengals game or probably the Panthers game in November.
Somebody thought they were cooking with these painted on leather helmet look.
Oh, they definitely are.
They are not. They are copied.
Question.
They are literally stolen from Illinois football.
Many people are saying that
cares
the
about that
Packers want to be the
state?
Fighting Illini so bad.
Yeah.
Luke Altmaier or Jordan Love, go.
Luke Altmaier.
Jordan Love.
Okay.
Jordan Love.
Oh, we
literally,
got a 50-50 split here.
Jordan Love has the lowest QBR amongst quarterbacks when completing passes within the numbers from last season. When throwing within the numbers of a football field, Jordan Love has the worst QBR in the league. He's a joke.
All right, Matt. Which quarterbacks led his team to the playoff?
Hey, you know what? We're coming. We're coming. All right. We're going to take the North and we're not going to let it go. You are the guy that tore up your defense for the last 3 years is now my head coach. I see the fear. I see the fear in your eyes that the guy who owns your defense is now my head guy.
Just worry about getting third place in the NFC North.
You know what? You got to worry about that. Okay, because that's what you're getting this year. You might get fourth place.
I'm worried about Detroit.
I might be high in the Vikings this year, Joey. I might bet for the Packers coming dead last in the NFC North this year.
I wish
You lost your you love your man coverage, and yet you dropped your number one man coverage guy, Jair Alexander.
Hey, we swap a receiver as a defensive back, Bo Melton.
Yeah,
he's been
look at that.
productive for the Packers.
The Packers
might as well put a
Packers
receiver.
looking like a college football team where they gotta swap wide receivers to corners after refusing to pay one of the best cover or man corners in the league any money.
Well, in their
One
defense,
of your leaders.
he hasn't been healthy lately. He's only
I'd
played
rather
half
have
Jair
Jair Alexander. Rather have Jair Alexander for
rather have
9
Jair
games
Alexander.
than Bo Melton playing for. Bo Melton wasn't even a good wide receiver. What makes you think he's going to be a good corner? Bo Melton was the 5th wide receiver on an ass wide receiving core.
Just trust Jeff Hafley. He did a good job last year.
You tell me the guy who couldn't even be better than Jaden Reed or Christian Watson or
They were all drafted in the same year, and those guys turned up, and now they got
Bo Melton's so good that they got to use the 21st pick on a fast Texas wide receiver.
They got some decisions to make at that position anyway.
You got no threat for Jalen Johnson. Got no threat for him. Be fine.
Just worry about winning your games more.
Yeah, my games are your games.
We
play the same teams. We play the same teams. Who beat you last year? Who won the last matchup, my man? Who won it?
5 of the losses
Who
in
won
the
it?
NFC North.
Who won it? Who won the last matchup?
We all know who did.
Yeah, we do. I'm wearing their colors right now.
Our head coach says you're welcome for taking a timeout because he was afraid his kicker was going to miss a field goal, even though he only missed one throughout the season.
I'm telling you right now, Green Bay Packers, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. The ultimate bridesmaid.
All right, who would go further? The way Caleb Williams was playing at the end of 24, or the way that Jordan Love was playing at the end of 23? Just drop that in.
I don't want any conversation about what Caleb Williams did with Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus as his head coach and his offensive coordinator. Okay, those two coaches are two of the worst coaches in NFL history. Okay, and they went and they coached Caleb Williams to the point where they nearly broke him, where he looked robotic, where he looked nothing like he did at USC, and then they refused to watch tape with him. Last year, when it comes to Caleb Williams, doesn't count. Never happened. This is his rookie year, as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? If you get Jordan Love the end of 23, I think you can get to the Super Bowl.
It's possible, but a lot of things have to happen.
Well, you guys paid Jordan Love what, $55 million a year because he played what, 8 good games in his first season? You gave a guy
yeah.
$50 million a year
Yeah,
because
he bounced back.
he played a good
He
season for
bounced
half
back
the year.
after facing adversity.
Yeah.
Led his team to the
And
playoffs.
it bounced back, and then
blew
he
out
was
the Dallas
exponentially
Cowboys, the number 2 seed
worse.
Dallas
last
Save it
Cowboys.
for the podcast.
He is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL by a mile. I would take so many quarterbacks other
Whoa.
than Jordan Love. So many.
Whoa.
I take Stafford over Jordan Love. I take Goff over Jordan
Well,
Love. I take
obviously, they've
Baker
been in the league
Mayfield over
longer.
Jordan Love.
Obviously,
Take the
they've been
big
in the league
four.
longer.
Take Herbert.
Oh, not Herbert.
I would totally take Herbert over
Not
Jordan
Herbert.
Love. You look statistically,
They think
Jordan
high
Love
and-
praised
high
that he
almighty
has the
for
numbers that
Justin
Justin Herbert
Herbert.
has.
He has not delivered.
You guys beat the Cowboys in one playoff game, and you think that you won the Super Bowl.
Almost beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, almost counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And frankly, since 2011, the Green Bay Packers have only been good at almost.
That is true. I will give you that.
How many Lombardis do you have since 85?
Only have 2.
Yeah, and how many Hall of Fame quarterbacks do you have? How many top 10 quarterbacks of all
2
time?
right
Wait,
now.
they've only
the
had a
third
couple
one.
of quarterbacks.
I know. They've had 2. I think it's embarrassing that the Green Bay Packers have had 2 top 10 quarterbacks all time in the last 30 years, and they've only won 2 Super Bowls.
I will agree
How
with
poorly of a
I
run
will-
franchise
No,
are
that's
you?
true. That's true.
I will agree with that because
You guys haven't had a
postseason
4,000-yard
malpractice.
passer, so
Stop it. Gary, get out of this.
Jordan
Gary, stop.
Love's already got a more successful season than any Chicago Bears quarterback. Just let that soak.
And yet we have one less Super Bowl in a 40-year span. How about you actually learn how to put together a defense? That'd be good for you guys.
Learn to put a defense together and special teams because that's been the Achilles heel.
Yeah,
in the
but you
postseason.
hired Rich Bisaccia. Oh my God.
hasn't been the brightest thing. I think Brandon McManus made up for all that.
I hope for your sake that Ben Johnson does work out
You know he's not.
because Joey will be your nightmare.
A lot of people are going to be my nightmare. Everybody is going to.
A couple people in the workplace are Packer fans.
Everybody's going to. I know that if the Bears are bad this year, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to pile on
Well,
the fact that
if the Bears are bad, then your focus is on beating the Packers because that's your Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's totally fine, man. Maybe if you treated it like a Super Bowl, you would have won the last game. That's
true.
some more momentum heading into the playoffs.
That is true.
Okay. All right. Packers will probably win double-digit games again this year.
It could.
They
could
are
not
a
happen.
team that is the sum of their parts. That's how I describe the Packers.
They have what I think is the third best coach in the league and a really good run game. And
You have Matt
will
LaFleur
be-
as the third best coach.
I think incredibly highly of Matt LaFleur.
Joey,
I would love.
say something nice about the Bears, and then we got to go to break.
They
Are
got
you
a big.
kidding me?
They're a big city by a lake.
That's not the Bears, my man.
And-
That's
and-
Chicago. Try again.
Well, they're by the lake.
That's
They play outdoors, and I
They're-
respect that.
say something nice about my team.
He did. They do.
No,
they
Caleb
do,
no,
they
Williams
do
got
for
nice
right.
fingernails.
Go to break.
You walked into
go
that
break.
one. You said something nice about his team.
Yes, I did. I said something nice about his coach because I have a tremendous amount of respect for his coach. I think it's Andy Reid, it's Sean McVay, and then it's Matt LaFleur.
All right, we'll be back to score this fight coming up
I
after the
won.
first round.
To be fair, though, there's not much Joey can say about my team other than you guys suck. That's
Bears
all we
still
have.
suck.
I have way more substance on him.
The Bears.
Bears.
I wish the song's in the system.
Steve Sipple and Brian Edwards in the next hour on 1620 The Zone. All right, a couple of things here. If you are a Jets fan and you are driving, listening to the show, put both hands on the wheel or pull over. Justin Fields has been carted to the locker room with an apparent lower leg injury, suffered in practice for the Jets this morning. Whoa.
It sucks.
Oh.
He can't get a break.
People are scrambling to see who the backup quarterback is for the New York Jets. It is not Zach Wilson.
No,
Isn't it Tyrod?
Because he's in Miami. Tyrod Taylor is everybody's backup quarterback.
him and Jacoby Brissett. Well, Jordan Travis retired. He would have been the backup. Was it?
Yeah, he retired.
Hold
was it
on
Adrian
here.
Martinez? Is it Adrian?
So Adrian Martinez
Yes.
on the depth chart right now is listed as third. Brady Cook, who was at Mizzou, is fourth. Tyrod Taylor is the backup. So Justin Fields injured. Let's go.
I thought for a second it was Adrian, and then when you inflected your voice, I was like, it is. It happened.
All right. So
Whoa.
it's too bad for the Jets fans, but good for us.
I think it's great for the Jets fans. I mean, they should go back and they should watch that Kansas State Oklahoma game.
Justin Fields should have played more with the Steelers last year.
It was look. We make too many documentaries about stuff, and we do too many like biopics and whatnot about things that occurred. But I would love to find out what the hell happened with Justin Fields and the Steelers, because at a certain point with Russell Wilson, it just made no more sense to have a guy, especially with how bad that offensive line was, to have a guy who couldn't move.
Whew. Do you think Garrett Wilson had to leave practice today?
No.
Like,
Did
okay.
he have to?
Well, they just paid him, and he needs a quarterback. Yeah. Okay.
Are we both sickos and we've been reading some training camp, details and whatnot?
Just briefly.
I read the training camp details of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan. We play them later in the year. I'm not even in their division, but apparently Kaylee Ringo had a really, really rough day. Yeah. They asked me what my big red overreaction availability was this season. And I said, I can do every BROR that you need me to do except for Black Friday.
Before we get to Rick here, there is the Big Ten has just taken over the world. Well, maybe not the world. They're taking over Coast to Coast Conference, and this comes right from Omaha, Nebraska. Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific have confirmed that there are merger talks. They're going to create a railroad that will stretch from east to west, the East Coast to the West Coast. That is the Big Ten Railroad. Thank you very much.
Is that an actual thing?
Yes. Norfolk Southern and UP right here in Omaha. They're confirming that they are going to merge. So will we get a bullet train?
No, we will never get a bullet train. Ever.
Why not? LA to New York City, a bullet train, just like our friends in Japan?
Gary,
This is a big deal.
I'm not an otherworldly human like you are, and you know that big oil will never let that happen.
I mean, we need to
Come on. You and I both know.
Little statement here. Our rail system needs to be updated so it's not just mainly used for cargo. Okay?
You and I both know that there will never be a bullet train in America.
I think America deserves a bullet train.
I agree too. I would love for there to be a bullet train, and not every time. Now, to be fair, the Metra exists, but the problem with the Metra is that every time you go on the Metra, I know the Metra's not a bullet train. I'm aware, but the Metra
Can I catch the Metra in Omaha?
No, you can catch it in Lincoln though. You can catch it like people would who lived in Chicago when they came back for school or went back home, they would take the Metra at that station all the way back to the Union Station in Chicago. I know that the Metra exists, but I don't think there's ever been a Metra I don't think there's ever been a Metra ride that spanned more than 4 hours that was never delayed. Those things are always delayed. They always come in way later than what you think they're going to come in.
The fact that we do not have a continuous coast-to-coast route here in America, let's work on the infrastructure.
It's big oil. You know it. It's big oil.
Let's get a bullet train. We need a bullet train. So L.A. to New York, you can go to a game at Rutgers and then get on the train, and you'd be there for a night game at the Rose Bowl. It's perfect.
Yeah,
really? You think a bullet train would be in one night? You'd be able to do it?
Go talk to the people in Japan. You know people in Japan.
11 a.m.
I don't know. I don't know. Why did you say that? I don't know any people in Japan.
We all know people in Japan.
No, we don't. That's not a thing at all.
I know people in Japan.
Did you have a Japanese pen pal growing up?
I did not. But Japan has got us beat with a bullet train. We need a bullet train. I just want small. I want bullet train from Omaha to Lincoln. But now that we're having the Big Ten Railroad, think about that. Noon Eastern time. You're in Piscataway. Okay, you watch Rutgers and
Maryland,
Northwestern.
Why is Northwestern always thrown into the crap?
And then you get on the train, and all of a sudden, like 4 hours later, you're in LA.
I don't think that's
local kickoff.
I don't think there's more.
LA.
Yeah, and you got a little buffer time there.
There can't be a bigger insult than when anytime anybody brings up a bad Big Ten matchup, your team always comes
because
up.
I believe the first Big Ten game on CBS on the new contract, wasn't it a Sunday afternoon, Northwestern at Rutgers?
Yep.
Yes, it was. Here is Rick. Rick, take care of the kids.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about trains instead of how the Bears suck. The Bears
Thanks,
do
Rick.
suck.
Thank you, Rick.
Appreciate it.
You
man.
know, if the Packers are only good at mediocrity, then the Bears are just good at missing the playoffs. But I got to know, does Chicago Matt know the difference between the Metra and an Amtrak train?
Yes, I do.
I don't think you do.
I do. No.
Then stop calling it the Metro.
So
the Metro
yeah, it's the
only works
Amtrak
within the suburbs of Chicago.
That's a good point. That's because I'm so Chicagoan, Dan, that I just say every train is the Metro train. Or sorry, Rick. He's my bad, Rick. It's just every train is just the Metro.
Rick.
It's just every train's the Metro train to me. Just like every train system is the L. Like if I was in New York, I'd be like, yeah, we're going on the L.
Just don't say that in Atlanta or San Francisco.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Marta,
that would be
Marta or Barta. Anything else, Rick?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that the Bears suck, but then you guys started talking about trains and, trains rule.
Aren't you a Lions fan?
Oh, I'm a Packers fan.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Matt already figured out who this is. The fake name thing isn't working anymore for
I know, because you have a
corporate
very
data.
distinct voice, Rick.
Yeah.
And you also say this to me all the time, every time I see you.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Have a good day, Rick Dan.
You got it.
Yeah.
Every time I see that guy, he wants to remind me that the Bears suck. I'm very well aware of my own suck. It's just, can you allow me, this is coming from somebody who went to Nebraska and somebody who loves the Bears. I understand I have delusion. I understand that the things that I think are going to happen probably are not going to happen. Okay, but you have to understand that I already know that I'm going to go through a lot of pain through the months of August, September, October, November, and December. So please, just allow me to have any sort of solace for any short amount of period of time thinking that my team is going to be successful, okay? Just allow me to have it, because we all know what it's going to be like when the football season actually begins, okay? So shame on all of you for peeing on my parade and not allowing me to just have just some quick moments of bliss and optimism and hope. Thank you.
This reading the Justin Fields injury does not appear to be good.
Is it
at
lower calf?
leg?
No.
They had to have the cart. They've tried to, as they were taking him off the field, they had him behind a tree so media could not see and fans. Adrian Martinez could be then backup with the New York Jets. Tyrod Taylor, about 36?
34.
36?
I think he's 34.
He's only started 5 games in the last 3 years.
Joey, this is a great trivia question.
Average quarterback play with the Jets. Welcome back.
Who drafted Tyrod Taylor?
I think the New York Giants.
Gary?
No.
He's like the Rich Hill of the NFL, of the teams that he has played for.
Either of them or the Seahawks.
Hold on. Tyrod. So I'm going back in my head.
Who drafted Tyrod Taylor?
Baltimore.
Bang!
Yeah.
Nice. Out of way. Not a lot of people get that.
Was he a 6th round guy?
Yes.
Out of Vatek?
That is one of my favorite trivia questions because nobody remembers the year that Tyrod Taylor was like the backup to Joe Flacco.
Huh?
And they're both still in the league, by the way.
So he's played with the Ravens, the Bills,
So
Browns, Chargers, Texans, Giants of late, and now he was the backup to Aaron Rodgers last year, I believe.
In Pittsburgh?
In
Detroit.
in the
My
Jets.
bad. So Adrian Martinez's path is now he signs a deal with Detroit, and then he was kind of going back and forth with Detroit until that was over. Then he went to the UFL. He won the MVP. Then I think he's just been very quietly on this Jets roster to the point where before you got excited, I was like, I think I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to be completely wrong, but he's one heartbeat away from being the quarterback of the New York Jets. You know what? The New York Jets and Nebraska football. What's the difference over the last 10 years? What's the difference?
It's been rough around here, but Nebraska football has never had a butt fumble.
Yes, that's true.
That's
but
true.
an incredibly passionate fan base. That
at no point did Mike Riley talk about being attracted to feet.
Would that safety against Illinois be the equivalent to the butt fumble?
Oh, God. Yeah, it's a good one. That's a really
we'll
good one,
ask Sip
Joey.
because he'll join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, we welcome in back from Sin City from 93.7 The Ticket, Husker Online, On 3, Stephen M. Sipple. How was it?
I loved it. It was fun. Vegas is a great city, and the event was good. But I long answer, but I just concentrate on Nebraska. So some of the big picture that James Franklin laid out, I didn't get into, but I loved the trip.
How was the Golden Steer? Did it live up to everything that you were promised?
I always feel uncomfortable talking about things like this. It feels like This feels a little braggadocious.
Oh, no, you can brag. I do it all the time. It's okay.
I'm not bragging. That's the thing. It feels like that.
It's not bragging at all. It's you're telling your experiences. It's a really, from what I've heard, it was a really cool experience. I would love to hear about it.
I'll never have a better one, I don't think, at a restaurant. I don't like it. I just don't know if it's, I mean, a lot of it is, it's just when you walk into a place, there's a certain feel, and it is that you get an amazing feel. You get this sort of a mafia feel. You get, booth 7 was Muhammad Ali. There's a corner booth that was Elvis's, and right now they have an Elvis gold record that they get for a year. It's just they get it for a year and they have it displayed, not in any ostentatious kind of way, but subtle. So Elvis's booth is right there. Sean Callahan made the reservation the minute that he found out that the Big Ten media days were going to be in Vegas. He went about getting this very difficult reservation to get. And so we're in the main area of the Golden Steer and everything that entailed. And it was fabulous. It's a fabulous place.
How was that Caesar salad?
Caesar salad's odd. People kept telling me, kept saying, hey, get the table side. They always would say table side Caesar. And I'd be like, okay, it's a Caesar salad. Like, well, what do we, but it is strangely good.
Yeah.
Like it's odd how good a Caesar salad can taste, in a place like that. So, and then the steak, I got a ribeye, and it was the first bite was, they know what they're doing. It's a high end place. It's a notable place for a reason. And they do everything really well. You get multiple waiters and all of that. So, yeah, I've been to 3 mega steakhouses in this country this year. I was at Peter Luger in Brooklyn, and then Maestro's in Beverly Hills. And those are all really good and notable, reputable. And this was the best. Ed, I just give it. It's better than Peter Luger.
Maestro's.
It edges out. No, it edges out Peter Luger. Maestro's is third.
Oh wow!
It just doesn't have the oomph in terms of nostalgia. Luger does, but steers over the top that way. I mean, you can feel it when you're in there, and the crowd's really interesting too.
Okay, let's focus on that. The best people watching that you had in your brief time in Vegas, it could either be inside the Mandalay Bay or outside the Mandalay Bay.
It would be, well, I think Golden Steer was the best, to be honest. But you see some strange configuration of couples. I mean,
in what way?
I think I just leave it at that.
Okay. I don't. Okay. That's very vague.
Like short and tall. I get
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Old, young.
That's ACC Media Day. That's not Big Ten Media Day.
Dun-dun-dun.
Good one.
Thank you.
No, but nothing bad. I mean, there's no judgment there. It's just an interesting crowd. And then people watching inside. I'd say inside, but I wasn't outside that much. I was. But yeah, we stayed at the Arias, which is a great place. And then the event was at Mandalay Bay. That's a great place too. But I bet people watching was a Golden Steer.
That merger for On3 is doing really well if you're staying at that hotel. Let's talk of the football stuff. Why do you think, because we went through this not too long ago where the head coach was appointed to be just the CEO and he didn't handle it very well. He was very uncomfortable in that role. We haven't said that Matt Rule is the CEO. He's assuming that kind of role, but he seems to be more comfortable if that's the role that we're going to have in year 3. Do you notice that? And if that's the case, why do you think he's comfortable kind of letting everybody else do their job?
Matt Rule?
Yeah.
I think he's a natural CEO. I don't think it's hard maybe it's hard. Okay, if it's hard for me, he makes it look easy to me. He's a leader, you know that. We all know that by now. I'm not saying he's perfect. Obviously, he's not perfect, but he is a lead. Like, the one thing I will always say about Matt Rule is he's a leader. Now, is he a perfect football coach? He's definitely good. How good? I mean, he failed pretty bad at Carolina, and I think we're getting him at a great time because I think he's really not just driven by that, but I think that's part of it. But Rule's a leader now. I mean, he's got the it factor. When he walks into I always say, it's hard to define, but there's certain guys, when he walks into a practice, like at the Hawks Championship Center, who's in charge. There's no doubt about who's in charge. So Holgerson's formidable. Eckler's really formidable. But you know who the guy is. I mean, it's not that hard to tell. He's that guy. There's various coaches I've covered over the years who have that presence. It's really hard it's sort of hard to define why. Why is he that guy? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just is. He's the boss. So I don't think the CEO adjustment for him seems natural to me.
Sip, I'm sure when you walk into an event like that, you have an idea or thought of what Nebraska football is and what the program is, and various thoughts on Matt Rule and the players that were with him. But I'm curious, did you have a different idea, or do you have a different idea or feeling or vibe about this team after seeing what you saw in Vegas and hearing what you heard in Vegas?
Oh, about the team itself or the program?
I would say the program.
I do have a different. Yeah, that 5-minute answer he gave to the question about Frost saying it was the wrong job for him. Yeah, I still haven't fully unpacked that in my mind. I didn't necessarily know that it was a bad job when he got here. Maybe you guys knew that. I'm not going to act like I knew that. I knew there were issues, but it hit me pretty hard when he said this was not a good job. I almost felt there's a part of me that felt deficient. Like, why? I didn't really portray it that way, I felt, and then what he said about Gannon was telling. It's great that those guys, I don't think they agree on everything because they're both very opinionated guys. They can't possibly agree on everything. But they are both alphas. But the fact that they work together well is telling. But the Pede comment really hit me. That when he said, without the Pede and the investments they made this spring, we're dead. We're dead. Couple that with what Gannon has said about the Pede family, where if we didn't have the Peds, we might not get off. We'd be on our knees and we may not get off of it. I hope people understand the importance of the Pede family in all this, because if they went away, hey man, I mean, all bets are off at that point. And I don't mean that. I mean that in the worst possible way. I just don't think you could keep doing it at this level at all. I don't know if you have a prayer.
Well, I mean, it's essentially a one guy, but a family basically supporting financially Nebraska football. So yeah. I mean,
in a way, I mean, that's certainly the apparatus of 1890, the infrastructure, and just to have a family say, we'll handle the infrastructure of the main collective for Husker athletics. That's lawyers, accountants, various support people. It's a huge, huge bill, and it's an incredibly important one.
Steve, you said that you felt like you were deficient. Where do you said you felt like you were deficient in maybe not realizing Nebraska was a worse job when Matt Rule took over. Like, I'm curious to where you think where maybe you went wrong. What did you maybe think that was revealed that you might think now is incorrect?
I don't know. I don't know how you guys portrayed the job when Rule took it, but I wasn't portraying it as a bad job. I was probably portraying it the other way. You know, I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but I wasn't thinking, oh God, Rule walked into a bad situation here. So I thought his comments were extremely revealing from that standpoint. Again, that's why I'm having trouble unpacking. He makes what he said made sense. You know, so what are we talking about? Fields that were deficient, the practice field,
Sure,
that the stadium field itself, which led to what do you say, 28 ACL injuries,
Yes.
49 knee
something
total.
crazy like that. Yeah.
A substandard NIL program, probably. Just the fact they didn't have saunas in the training facility. The nutrition program wasn't what I thought. The nutrition program was okay. When I say deficient, Matt, I wasn't portraying it as a program that was poor.
Mm.
And then he handled the question magnificently. I asked him as he was in the midst of that spiel, kind of like basically why did you take the job? And that is because he saw so much promise. He made that amazing analogy about, you know, how you come across the mansion that you just see the bones of the mansion are magnificent. It needs work, but the bones and the structure is so strong. And that's why he took the job. But it was revealing to me that he took the job thinking it wasn't a great one. But he saw promise in it, and now he says it can be, or he said it will be, a great job soon.
Yeah, I think the guy that hired him did a good job of selling him the vision of what it could be. But you know, he got here, and there's a lot of people that had different agendas, and there's a lot of people that just they were not equipped to be in the position that they were currently in, and things slipped. And so now they're in a short amount of time, which is pretty amazing. A lot of those things he mentioned got cleaned up, which would usually take a while, got cleaned up pretty quick. Let me ask you about QB1. Because and maybe this is just him. When you try and talk like football stuff with him, he'll deflect and he'll turn it into leadership and, you know, with being with the guys and the brotherhood. Physically, he looks completely different. I mean, he's done a good job we got to get the body right. The body looks right. What do you think why he does that? He doesn't want to talk football like, hey, I'm going to be better at throwing a deep ball. I'm going to be better at, you know, my awareness in the pocket. He did kind of allude to, hey, I'm going to run the ball a little bit more. But why do you think he deflects away from that? And with that said, when you put eyeballs on him on Monday, what do you think will look different in just the quarterback playing part of QB1?
First of all, he's really wise beyond his years. Plus, he was raised very well, and like anybody who's talking about himself all the time. Like, yeah, it's just not I never think it's a very good look. I think he knows that inherently, but he also understands that in his position as the quarterback, as a high-profile quarterback, I think it's a combination of I don't think he really likes to talk about himself because he's got a built-in humility, but also because it's a team game, and he recognizes his role as the leader of a team. It's not an individual sport. It gets lost on some guys, but I mean, Dylan's intangibles are through the roof good with Dylan. Through the roof good. The intangibles are freaky good. He's a great kid. He's affable. Great. I mean, I think people are already taking for granted what a great representative he is of the program. He's just a gem. As far as what his game now, you got to make it work on the field. I think the ball will come out quicker. You're right. He's in supreme shape. I mean, he's diligent about it. I am passionate about saying I think we take him for granted already. I never worry about. I wish I could say about every player that he's mindful of his nutrition, that he worked incredibly hard on his physical conditioning during the summer. He's always dialed in on the offense and what has to happen on his role and other roles. There's nobody that puts more time in than Dylan. Nobody. I'm the least of my concerns is Dylan Raio's preparedness. He's the least of my concerns. It doesn't mean he's going to go out and have a monster year. I don't know. We'll see what it's like. But I'll tell you one thing: it won't be because of lack of preparation. If everybody approached their job like Dylan does, they would win 10 games no matter what, in my mind. But you just can't find too many people in this world like Dylan. But the fact he's the leader of the offense and a face of the program, I'm very comfortable with because of the way he works. And I hope it manifests itself on the field. But a lot of that has to do with who's calling the plays and what's around it.
Isaiah Mosey is now a running back after he was recruited as a wide receiver. He also shrunk an inch. He went from 6'1" to 6 foot on the new measurables and whatnot. Steve, do you look at his move from the lens of, okay, Nebraska thinks they're really good at wide receiver, so they're willing to take one wide receiver off and putting out the running back room? Or do you look at it through the lens of, oh, they might be in bigger trouble when it comes to who's running the ball behind Emmett Johnson?
I guess definitely the former, but I don't know about if I'd say big trouble. But I think they need more help at running back. And I do think they feel really good about those young guys at receiver and the receiver position in general. Not that they're incredibly deep at receiver. After that, if you look at the first 5 or 6, it's not. There's a lot of unproven guys that are going to have to step up. And there's even guys in the like Cortez Mills has never done anything in college, so let's see. But I'd group him in the top 5. Mosey, the running back. Some of it is he wanted to do it, Matt. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it, so that's important in the conversation. When I watched his film, I told Sean immediately, way back during the recruiting period, God, he looks like a running back to me. The way, and he played running back. He obviously played receiver in high school, but he did play some running back and was good, looked good doing it. So after I just thought he was a fabulous run after the catch guy because he has that running back instinct. So that, to answer your question, I do think there is something to they feel they need to fortify the running back position more. And he's really confident, and everything I hear suggests he's not making that move just to say, oh, I'll take a few carries here and there if that's what you need. No, Mosey will go in there and try to win the job. I just hope to God that's what those guys that we are deeming reserves, I hope that's their mindset. And I think it is based on things I'm hearing. I don't think Mekhi Nelson looks at it like, oh yeah, Emmett's the number 1 guy and I'm not. No, I think he'll go try to win the job. And I hope to God that Emmett feels a lot of pressure right now. I hope he does. It doesn't seem like he does. I hope he does. And I hope it starts. And if he doesn't, I hope he starts to feel it, on Monday, when they start.
Let's say there's no injuries. The tackle spot opposite Pritchett. How many different guys start at that spot in 2025?
I think you could see a couple. It's a great. I don't want to answer it that way, but I would say it's an incredibly good competition. And get ready because I think Teddy's back.
Okay.
And Matt Rule, I was glad that's great. The fact that he just laid out that Tyler Knack is Knack, I think, is going to go out there number 1. That was revealing. He's going to be the number 1 guy on Monday. He'll trot out there first with the first team offense. That's really important that we know that, but that competition's far from over. Gunner and Teddy will make it a big, big, big competition. I don't rule out Gunner.
No.
And Teddy's back now. Teddy could win that job.
Be a great story, but I mean,
no, I would. Yeah. I mean, Teddy's back. I think Teddy's in a good spot physically, and I want to see what that looks like in August.
Yeah, I mean, it's in Gatula. he's a little, I mean, he's healthy. He's good to go, but, you have shoulder surgery, so you miss spring, so I understand why he's behind. Kanak had a really good spring. Like, you would see drills, and he'd be one of the frontline guys that were jumping up. No, I like that position. Teddy finishing his career playing a lot of football would make me very happy. I've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
I want Teddy to play multiple games, then I'll go, okay, here we go.
Well, I hear
Make it to another Saturday. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be jumping. I don't feel like I'm jumping the gun. All I'm saying is he's going to be right there every day.
Yeah. If he's healthy, if he's near what his best time at Nebraska is, he's their best option at tackle.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a horse race.
Yep.
That right tackle position is a beautiful sort of picture that illustrates how well that Donovan Raiola has done in building depth across the line. You could lose a couple tackles and be okay this year.
Yep, they just got to find a couple of solid interior guys, and they're good. They're good. Sip, glad you're back. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next week in Lincoln.
All right. God bless both of you.
God bless you. That is Viva Las Vegas, Sipple.
Vegas Sipple?
Vegas Sipple.
Yeah, he's getting me ready for my Vegas trip next month.
Whoa!
Are you going to do the same thing? You going to go to the Golden Steer?
No, I'm going to a concert. I got like 2 nights over there.
I think that's what would you say is the perfect amount of time in Vegas? I would imagine anywhere from like 48 to 72 hours. I don't think you really want to be there.
4 days.
Yeah.
4 days.
4 days?
I'm in that range.
Okay, good to know. I'm just taking notes. I'm just always taking notes on my Vegas trip is going to rock this station. It's going to rock this world. And all I'm doing is studying from the greats like Gary Sharp, Connor Happer, and Joey Colbert.
I'll do some early scouting for you, man.
I would love that. I would really love that if you were to give me
things to do and do not.
Things to do and things not to do and whatnot. Just give me the whole 411. Almost like your schedule breakdowns. I want a breakdown of Vegas.
Quick update on Justin Fields. They say it is a foot injury.
So
toe injury is what Aaron Glenn is saying. They don't know the severity, but Adrian Martinez warming up in the bullpen.
He's up and ready.
All right, Brian Edwards is going to join us next on 1620 The Zone.
It's Thursday at 9:45, which means, as always, we bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the Vegas insider, Mr. Brian Edwards. B.E., how you doing, my man?
Good morning. Sorry about DP the other night.
I know.
Well.
I think I'm Mick Mush for you, my man. I think when I take your picks, you end up losing them. So I'm going to have to pick and choose my battles. We also didn't do too well on that parlay. But we got more UFC things to come. I know that there's a pretty good fight night card this weekend in the Apex. Unfortunately, you and I both share our sentiment that we can't stand that place. But UFC 320, that card just got announced. Before you make your picks for this weekend, Ankalaev, Pereira 2, and then you got Dvalishvili taking on Corey Sandhagen, who everybody has kind of pinned as the next great in that bantamweight division, really ever since about 2020. He'll get his first title shot. And then you got Prohaska and Roundtree, who that would be a co-main event on most cards. That's going to be the co-main. 320, man, how excited are you for that?
Oh, very excited. I like those matchups, and the odds I wrote about those, or actually no, I wrote about Espinal and Gone, but I tweeted the odds for those yesterday, and they may have changed since yesterday, but Ankalaev minus 180 to Pereira plus 150 dog, Marab minus 380, Sandhagen plus 300, and Yuri Prohaska minus 218, Roundtree plus 180. Lean to all three favorites there, but I wouldn't bet those straight. I don't know what a parlay would pay you there, but I mean, we don't have props yet. Might be interested in props on any of those, so I don't want to give any picks really yet, but I'd lean to the favorites if I had to pick who wins.
Okay, so this week we got Whitaker and DeRitter, and then you also got another former champion, Bildiran, taking on a McGee, and then you got a couple. I mean, the Magomedovs are in town, and it's going to make some interesting wrestling matchups. What are you looking at, my man?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell minus 130. Now he's slumped a little bit here, but strikers are his kryptonite. John Silva got him in Miami in April. Josh Emmett got him December 23, and Ilya Taporia got him December 22. But now he's fighting Nurmagomedov, and this is an Abu Dhabi early fight. So I think Mitchell's going to start around 12:30, 12:45 Central. And then that's the prelims headliner, and then the main card's on ABC. All I'm doing, or at least so far, so the only other pick Bryce is minus 130. And then I've got a parlay with Podolyan minus 410, 3-leg parlay. And then Shara Bullet minus 700, and his real last name is Magomedov, or not. What am I talking about? Real last name. The first name's a tough cronut, so I just call him Shara Bullet because that's his nickname, Bullet. And then I'll close it out with Whitaker minus 162. That only gets plus 129. But Jan, Magomedov, Whitaker plus 129, 3-leg parlay, and Bryce Mitchell minus 130 straight bet.
All right, let's go to some football because Big Ten Media Days wrap up today. PJ Fleck was yesterday. He talked about going to the playoff, Brian, and we went, excuse me? But they brand new quarterback, redshirt freshman. They've hit the 7-win plateau in the regular season 4 times since 19 with Fleck. The schedule's got some ebbs and flows in it, but it is not super daunting. But the win total is very low. Your thoughts on Minnesota?
Yeah, so on June 25th, I wrote down in my Phil Steele mag that Circa had 6.5 over minus 140, under plus 120. Here we are a month later. That could have changed. Whenever I'm not familiar with the quarterback position and I'm not familiar with Drake Lindsey, and who was he talking about being the starter? I'm not Moorhead, the Boston College transfer, because I had Boston College win total a couple years ago. Moorhead had to play way too much.
No, he is Drake. Yeah, Drake Lindsey will be their starter.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so I'm not trying to be married to a preseason opinion. Phil Steele's national unit ranking, not ranked at quarterback, number 8 at running back, 76 wide receiver, 60 on the O-line, 19 D-line, 55 linebacker, 31 secondary, 74 special teams. I think they win their first 2 in non-con. I would lean their way at Cal. They got a good chance to start 4-0 at Ohio State, 4-1. Should beat Purdue, should be 5-1. Nebraska at home, swing game. At Iowa, I lean Iowa. I lean to them. Michigan State. They lose at Oregon. I probably lean their way at Northwestern. I mean, they could win 8. I guess I'd probably, well, I don't know. The schedule works there. I guess I would lean over.
Okay.
But again, I'm not familiar with the quarterback, so I'm not betting it.
All right, coming up today, the ACC Media Days at 2:30, I believe, Eastern Time. Bill Belichick arrives to meet the media as the head coach of North Carolina. They gave the Ziggy to Mac Brown. Bill Belichick is in college. The story has been about him and his girlfriend. Now we got to talk some ball. The win total is 7.5. They open up with a very intriguing game against TCU on that Monday night of Labor Day weekend. Thoughts on North Carolina in year one before sold-out crowds in Chapel Hill?
What time did you say he was doing the media today?
2:30 your time.
I'm writing that down. I got to do that. I love their GM who used to be on VSiN that was with him way back in the day in the Brown. I thought he did a pretty good job in the portal. Their transfer specific class is ranked number 9. They got 41 transfers, 7 4-stars, but they got 8 guys that were 4-stars out of high school that are just 3-star transfers. They got 4 transfers from Washington, where his son was the DC. 2 of them are really good. Thaddeus Dixon, a corner, and Kamori House, a linebacker. They did some pretty good work in the portal. They got an offensive tackle, first team All-Conference USA with Rich Rod at Jack State last year. I like Gio Lopez. I bet South Alabama in some midweek games last year. He's really good. I mean, he's a legit dual threat, can run it with some speed and some power. And, throws it pretty good, 18-5 TDI-NT ratio last year. So looking at the schedule, I think TCU is a true swing game. Should win the next 2. At UCF, I would lean Carolina, but UCF's got 2 weeks to prepare. So, and that's going to be hot in Central Florida. So I'm going to say that's a true swing game. They lose to Clemson at home, so that's 2-1. At Cal, I would lean their way, 3-1. I think they beat Virginia 4-1. At Syracuse, very winnable. They beat Stanford at home. At Wake, very winnable. Duke at home's winnable.
8-1.
At NC State, slight underdog probably. I mean,
8-2.
Yeah.
I think they can go 8-4. I mean, I don't know how those 2 swing games are going to work out. What did I say? At UCF was a swing game, and TCU at home. Let's say they split those. I'm guessing 8-4 is probably what they'll do.
Okay.
I just went FanDuel 7.5 under -168, over +136. I think 8-4 is probably where I would have them.
Okay. We'll get you out here on this because this is a weird program led by Pat Narduzzi, who yesterday said Belichick's got to get to the ACC final to help the ACC. 11-3 in 21, 3-9 in 23. He's still there. Pitt's a weird team. Their win total is 6.5. I see a lot of 50-50 games, not many, that's going to be a loss games for Pitt.
Yeah, I originally marked them 5-1 with 6 swing games. I had them losing at Georgia Tech. I had the swing games being at West Virginia week 3, Louisville at home, and they get 2 weeks to prepare there. But I would still probably lean Louisville. At FSU, swing game. At Cuse has 2 weeks to prepare, and Pitt doesn't. Notre Dame at home. Pitt has 2 weeks to prepare. I'm not sure what Notre Dame's got that week. Miami at home, I would lean Miami, but that'll be a cold weather game, so you never know. Narduzzi is such a horrible in-game coach, but I think he's a pretty good, otherwise coach, motivating, et cetera. He's got a great line coach. I love Desmond Reed. Holstein was playing great until like late October, and his season kind of went the other way. But he's got 3 of his 4 top targets back. I'm going to pass on the win total.
Okay.
Who knows? I would guess probably about 7-5.
All right. Great stuff. We are 30 days from the start of college football, 35 around here, 37 from that first big Saturday. And we have a big quarterback injury in the NFL. So we'll watch the Jets, what happens with their win totals and stuff until Kirk Cousins is sent to New York.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I wonder. Maybe we can get that first round pick back. I doubt it.
says the Atlanta Falcon fan. Brian, have a great weekend.
All right, y'all as well, guys.
TB.
Brian Edwards from MajorWager.com, senior handicapper for Vegas Insider.
Real quick, error by me. Abu Dhabi is the location for this UFC fight night, not the Apex. I was looking at the 7 other fights that they have at the Apex that are coming up. They go Abu Dhabi, then Apex.
Really?
Then Chicago.
Oh,
they're at the UC. I'll be in Okoboji.
Good card.
That'll be fun.
It's a fine card, not a great card. Duplessis versus Chimaev. Chimaev is the guy that everybody, like, for the last 4 years, we've been waiting for Chimaev to win a title, and Duplessis has kind of like ruined a lot of that stuff. It's okay. It's not great. They don't have Bilal Muhammad, who's a Chicago native, that's his city. They don't have him fighting on the card, which I don't get.
All right, we'll put a wrap on everything that's going on with the Big Ten because they wrapped today, and I'm sure Belichick, there'll be something coming out of the ACC media days.
I'm excited.
People are curious if he's traveling by himself. Has to, right?
She's got to be there.
No,
I'd be curious.
I don't think Fleck was. I don't know if Fleck's wife was in Vegas. She usually comes with him.
Well, I think this is a little different. Fleck's wife isn't his CEO who's sending out emails and stopping certain athletes. Right. Is Fleck's wife stopping certain athletes from coming to the school?
Probably not doing that, but she is. She's very much part of the program. Okay. Yeah. We'll do that tomorrow on a Football Friday. Thanks, Joey. For Matt, I'm Gary, all of our great guests. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6. Crossovers coming up next.